See, every single thing that we are concerned about, every single thing when you turn on the TV tomorrow morning that they will talk about, will all be related to racism, white supremacy as a system. Okay, Donald Trump. I say meet your next president.
What will happen with the artificial intelligence industry under President-elect Trump? Well, many tech leaders want to know. Some of them are hoping that billionaire Elon Musk, serving as a close Trump advisor, will boost the AI sector. For more, we're joined by NPR's Bobby Allen. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, Mary Louise.
So big picture, what you watching for in terms of what the Trump team might bring for AI companies?
Yeah, from a very high level, it's expected to be a change in tone, right? The Biden administration took a somewhat antagonistic approach to AI with executive orders and rules aimed at beefing up safety measures. But Trump says he is finding AI advisors from within the AI and tech sector, people like David Sachs. He's a former PayPal executive and longtime venture capitalist. Trump is making him the White House's AI czar. That's someone who can set priorities for AI policy and help shape what federal rules could look like for AI. And Sriram Krishnan, he's another longtime venture capitalist who has invested in AI companies, and Trump is tapping him as an AI advisor. So these two top picks, Mary Louise, really show that the people who will be shaping AI policies are AI believers and individuals who have invested in AI companies. So Trump's AI policy, is going to be heavily influenced by industry types.
Okay, so fewer rules, fewer regulations. What might that actually look like in practice?
Well, Congress has never passed a piece of AI legislation, so there are no federal rules in the U.S. right now regulating the AI industry. But the Biden administration has exerted force in other ways. One key way has been through the Federal Trade Commission. It has opened investigations into nearly every big tech company. A lot of these companies are expected to be interested in purchasing smaller, very innovative AI companies in Trump's term. And the Biden administration has not been a fan of such mergers. They made larger they make larger companies even larger, but, that could soon change. I talked to John Villasenor. He's a law and public policy professor at UCLA, and he says expect to see a lot more AI companies being gobbled up by the likes of Meta, Microsoft, and OpenAI.
There's going to be certainly a much greater willingness for larger established companies to make offers to buy up-and-coming AI startups. There's been a bit of a chill in the air under the Biden administration's FTC, so I think that'll likely be a lot less aggressively forced under the Trump administration.
And, critics of consolidation in the tech industry say it can lead to less competition so that the quality of products could potentially get worse over time and prices for consumers could go up.
Bobby, go back to Elon Musk, who, as we know, is playing an outsized role in Trump's transition. Do we know if he's likely to play an outsized role in AI policy once they actually get to the White House?
Yeah. Well, on top of heavy hitter companies that he runs like Tesla and SpaceX, Musk has his own AI company called XAI. So he does have a vested interest in policies that could spur more growth for the AI industry. And he wants federal policies to advance the development of autonomous vehicles. And Tesla could have a large role in that. And, Musk has talked about the need to onshore the production of semiconductor chips used to power AI systems.
To onshore them, so meaning making them in the U.S. as opposed to Taiwan, where they're mostly made now?
That's exactly right. 90% of the most advanced ones are made there. And now there is bipartisan support for more chip production in the U.S. That was the whole push of the CHIPS Act, which Congress passed. It pumped billions into making the U.S. more competitive globally in the chip sector. But a lot has to be done in order to go toe-to-toe with Taiwan, and AI is just highly, highly dependent, Mary Louise, on these cutting-edge chips that the Trump administration, soon to be at least, is hoping to make more of in the U.S.
NPR's Bobby Allen. Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Mary Louise.
Imagine this. It's 9 a.m. on Monday. You shuffle into the office, coffee in hand. You're ready to battle another week of endless meetings, but you notice something different. There's a new hire sitting at the desk across from you. They don't need caffeine, they don't make small talk, and most importantly, they don't have a body. Meet virtual employees. They are designed to work alongside humans or potentially instead of them. So should this prospect bother you? What is a virtual employee, and is your job in danger? Let's start with the term itself, virtual employees. Simply put, these are AI agents, bots running on artificial intelligence. They were mentioned in Sam Altman's blog post. He is the founder and CEO of OpenAI. He wrote, and I quote, "We believe that in 2025, we may see the first AI agents join the workforce and materially change the output of companies." Sam Altman believes this is the year, 2025 is when AI agents clock in with us. No need for onboarding or benefits, just plug them in and they're ready to go. Technically, he's not wrong. Some companies are already ahead of the curve. Take McKinsey, for example. They have partnered with Microsoft to build a new AI agent, one that is capable of handling client inquiries. Yes, they want an assistant who does not complain about back-to-back meetings. And they aren't the only ones. OpenAI too is planning to launch its own agent called Operator. It can write code. It can take care of all menial tasks. Then there's Microsoft's new AI suite. It's called Copilot Studio. Anthropic has also launched a new AI model. This one can move the mouse cursor and type out text. So you get the gist. These AI agents seem to be the future. McKinsey predicts that 30% of US work hours could be automated by 2030. That's a lot of jobs getting a digital makeover or potentially disappearing altogether. If you think about it, it is kind of unnerving. So the big question now is, are they here to replace us? In some cases, yes. In fact, in a lot of cases. AI could impact 300 million jobs. That is a projection, 300 million jobs. That's about 9.1% of all jobs in the world. According to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, 60% of all jobs will be affected by AI in some way. So yes, AI is coming for your job in some way. But before you dust off your resume, consider this. These agents aren't flawless. Some of them are in the development stage. They have their own car crash moments. Also, there are ethical dilemmas, like who controls these agents? How do we ensure that they do not perpetuate biases? How do we prevent them from wreaking havoc? And more importantly, will they ever understand the subtle art of office small talk? You see, AI excels at repetitive, data-driven tasks. They can process inquiries. They can schedule meetings. What they cannot do, at least not yet, is empathize or dream up big ideas. For that, you will still need humans. So here is the bottom line. Virtual employees are no longer science fiction. They're here reshaping the workplace in real time, but they're not perfect. And let's face it, they lack the human touch. So will they replace us entirely? Highly unlikely. Will they change how we work? Absolutely. So the key is to resist, not to resist this wave of automation. It is to evolve with it. We embraced computers, email, and the internet, and we can do the same for AI. Find a way to collaborate, learn to work with these new virtual colleagues. Lean on them for what they do best, and focus your energy on the things that only humans do best. Because at the end of the day, the magic of the workplace is not just about efficiency, it's also about the human spark. And no algorithm can replace that.
So Prime Day is Amazon's biggest sale event. How was it this year?
Oh, it was amazing. Prime Day is sort of like Hanukkah in that they said it would last one day, but I worked 8 straight days.
You say 8 days?
Oh, yeah. I worked so much I had to make up a whole new day of the week. Flu's Day, yeah. That's when you close your eyes on Friday and wake up behind the wheel on Tuesday, yeah. But I love it, wouldn't trade it for the world. I got a good job.
5 years after the early days of COVID, the majority of workers who can work from home are working from home at least some of the time, according to Gallup. But those employees no longer include workers from Amazon. As of last week, the company's 350,000 corporate employees are expected to come to the office 5 days a week. Workplace experts are watching closely to see what influence this shift may have on other companies. I should mention here that Amazon is among NPR's financial supporters and pays to distribute some of our content, but we cover them like any other company. From member station KUOW in Seattle, Monica Nicholsberg reports.
Amazon declined to be interviewed for this story, but in a public memo, CEO Andy Jassy said its full return to the office will strengthen company culture, collaboration, and mentorship. As an early career data scientist at Amazon, Sam Rainier sees the value in that.
When I started all remote, there was a couple people on the team that were like senior level, and they're obviously like these go-to people for information, but I still felt like it was very daunting to poke my head in their office virtually and say, hey, do you have some time?
Rainier thinks working in person could solve that problem for some employees, though not for him since his boss will still be based in another state. But other employees have had strong negative reactions to the policy.
It's like, why? All I need is an internet connection. I just don't get it.
Joseph is one of them. He asked that we only use his middle name because he's afraid of professional repercussions for criticizing the company publicly. He says Amazon asked him to relocate to Seattle a few weeks ago to make it easier to comply with the new in-office policy. The movers had just arrived when we caught up at his new home.
Sorry, it's still doing this.
That's all right. You're still moving in?
Yeah, I'm getting there, but as you can see, I've still got the obligatory pile of cardboard in the corner.
Joseph says he has autism and ADHD, and those conditions make it difficult to be in open-concept offices every day.
I've developed coping mechanisms over the years, so it's not like I can't deal with social interaction, but 5 days a week, every week a year, for the rest of your life, that's where it starts to be a problem.
Joseph plans to apply for a disability accommodation to continue working from home a few days a week, but he's not sure he'll get it. If he doesn't, he says he might leave. And he's not alone. Several of the employees interviewed for this story said they're looking for new jobs. Stanford economist Nick Bloom is convinced that Amazon's real goal is to downsize its workforce, a layoff by attrition.
Amazon hired very aggressively in 2021-22 with the rebound from the pandemic and suddenly discovered they just had too many employees.
Bloom says that when people quit, it can save the company money.
And so option one is to fire a bunch of folks, but you have to pay them severance pay. So option two, I think their view was, look, why don't we call everyone back to the office for 5 days a week? Probably about 10% of people won't like it. They live too far away. They'll quit on us, and that will save us a lot of money.
Amazon says it's inaccurate to claim the return to office policy is a backdoor layoff. Amazon CEO also denied it at a recent all-hands meeting in comments shared by the company's PR team. Regardless of the reason behind the move, Bloom will be watching to see how it influences other companies over the coming months.
Amazon are famous for being extremely well managed, very data focused, very successful. So if they have a 5-day return to office, it's very tempting for many other CEOs, execs to follow.
Many Amazon employees, meanwhile, say they're watching to see how strictly the policy will be enforced. For NPR News, I'm Monica Nicholsberg in Seattle.
More and more Americans need home health care, and finding a caregiver is hard. The pay is low, turnover is high, which is why Nevada has been raising caregiver wages. NPR's Andrea Hsu reports.
Thomas Dre is a high school science teacher. Almost 20 years ago, he was in a car crash.
Yeah, in 2005, my buddy ran a red light.
He suffered a spinal injury that left him unable to use his legs. Since then, he's needed help getting out of bed, getting cleaned, getting dressed, and getting in his van to go to school. That help hasn't always been reliable.
We would have people coming and going or not showing up to get me up, and I wouldn't go to school that day.
Then came Irma Nunez. For the past 12 years, she's been at his house 20-some hours a week.
What is it, 23?
Like 23, 24 and a half, around there.
That's how much Medicaid covers every week.
I come a.m. and I come p.m. every single day.
In the mornings, she's there at 4:30 so that Dre can make it to school by 6 a.m., an hour before the kids get there.
I wouldn't be able to go to school or work if it wasn't for Irma.
After school, she returns to help Dre get back into his house and back into bed. The work is taxing, and a year ago, she was earning the going rate, around $11 an hour.
I always thought it was just crazy. They made such little amount of money.
To make ends meet, Nunez used to pick up as much work as she could, taking on multiple clients, driving from house to house, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, 7 days a week.
You see a lot of people needing you, so you help them. You help them, and that makes you feel good.
Still, she was frustrated, not just with her low pay, but her lack of health insurance and other benefits.
No PTO, no vacations, no nothing. I don't work, I don't get paid.
So she jumped at the chance to do something about it. In 2023, she and other caregivers took their fight to the Nevada legislature with backing from the union, SEIU. They asked the state to send more Medicaid dollars to the agencies that employ them, so the agencies in turn could pay them more. The caregivers shined a light on how hard their days are, bathing and feeding patients, helping them go to the bathroom. Turned out they had a receptive audience.
People told us personal stories about their dads, moms, grandparents, so they knew what we were talking about.
And in the 2023 budget bill, Nevada lawmakers granted their wishes. They even set a new $16 minimum wage for home care workers, far higher than the state minimum wage. It took effect in January last year.
First paycheck, I'm all like, oh wow, like way different.
Now, a year later, the wage boost is proving to be game-changing for the industry, too. It used to be that half of home care workers in Nevada didn't even last a year. In the 4 months after the new minimum wage took effect, turnover fell to almost nothing. Home health agencies have been growing their ranks at a faster clip, and so has the union. Since 2023, 1,000 caregivers have voted to unionize to have a bigger voice. And when the Nevada legislature convenes again next month, Irma Nunez will be part of a larger contingent of caregivers demanding another raise.
Maybe from 16 to 20, or if possible higher, because we need it.
She says her rent keeps going up. Her car needs new tires. She still has no health insurance. And at 58, she herself is dealing with all kinds of health problems.
I'm older. I'm older, and I'm not the Irma that used to be.
A $20 wage, she says, would help her save a little money for her own retirement. Andrea Hsu, NPR News, Henderson, Nevada.
2024 was a busy year for the Houston Fire Department, everything from responding to Hurricane Beryl to getting their long-awaited union contract with the city. One of their colleagues also recently died on duty responding to a fire. Being a firefighter is not only a physical commitment, some say the mental toll is heavier. As Colleen de Guzman reports, the department is working on strengthening its mental health resources for the city's firefighters.
Marty Langton is going on 25 years as a firefighter. He's taken countless calls across Houston, everything from car crashes to heart attacks. But there's one call he says he thinks about nearly every time he dresses up for work or hops on a fire truck.
We pulled up to the house and a mother came out and dropped her lifeless baby in my arms.
He took this call 15 years ago. His nieces and nephews were young at the time, making the situation all more emotional.
I can remember having to begin to do CPR. We did everything humanly possible to save this baby's life. But you never forget those things.
Often for firefighters, the question of whether they did enough lingers.
These calls stick with you for years.
As president of the department's union, Langton says having its own in-house team of therapists is key to seeing firefighters through the traumas they see on the job. Leah Belches is one of 2 clinical psychologists for the department.
The amount of emotion and guilt that follows to say, did I do enough? Did I do a good job? Are really, really complex emotions, so we help them process through that.
She offers one-on-one sessions for firefighters and their family members and facilitates peer support groups within the department.
We are there to help them process all those complex emotions, whether it's guilt, grief, hopelessness, and a lot of times feeling like they didn't do a good job.
The mental risks of being a firefighter may be the most dangerous part of the job. They're 3 times more likely to die by suicide than to die in line of duty, according to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation.
They're expected to go out there on people's worst day, see the worst tragedies.
Among Houston's 3,600 firefighters, Belches says around 300 of them contacted her department this year. And among those who did, around a quarter struggle with suicidal ideation.
I think it's probably much higher than what our firefighters are sharing with us or open to sharing. There's still that myth of if I talk about this, I might lose my job.
This stigma can cause mental health issues to worsen over time for first responders. And for Houston's firefighters, the risk is compounded by a list of other long-standing problems. Langton says the department has been critically understaffed for years.
We're down 600 firefighters firefighters and paramedics.
Serving on an understaffed team in one of the nation's most populated cities can lead to higher rates of stress, Belches says.
It's left our firefighters burnt out, exhausted, working overtime, being held over, which has all the more contributed to mental health issues.
Firefighters left by the droves while the department spent nearly a decade fighting for a union contract with the city. A long-awaited settlement was finally approved by Houston City Council earlier this summer, but it left scars on the team.
Pre-settlement, morale was low. Pre-settlement, there was a lot of frustration, there was a lot of anger.
The department is also grappling with the recent death of one of their own. Early November, firefighter Marcel Garcia died after a wall collapsed on him at a warehouse fire in Houston's East End.
It has been an incredibly emotional year, but it's also been a year that really stands out in the history of the Houston Fire Department.
Seeing sorrow and pain as a firefighter is inevitable. Their job is to rescue people. But Langton says what is preventable is letting them believe they're going through it alone.
I start and end every meeting with this. If we fail at all else, may God give us the strength to never fail at taking care of each other.
With News 88.7's In Depth, I'm Colleen de Guzman.
Army Major Michael Stockin said very little here in a JBLM courtroom as he pled guilty in a landmark case. Stockin now says he did commit multiple crimes under the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
There are questions, important questions that remain about how a doctor could exist within the Madigan hospital system.
Ryan Giles represents multiple male victims in the wide-ranging case. Soldiers had suggested the Madigan doctor inappropriately touched their genitals during exams and did not wear gloves. Servicemen reported feeling violated, traumatized, and sought treatment for mental health issues. Victims looked on inside the small JBLM courtroom, closed to recording devices, as Stockin finally admitted guilt as part of a plea bargain.
I think there's a sense of relief, a sense of somewhat satisfaction with the justice system, certainly a process that's taken too long. But I think they are proud of themselves. I think this has been an incredibly difficult journey.
Giles, however, says the case is far from over, and the Army needs to answer questions about how Major Michael Stockin was able to commit the crimes with little accountability.
The greater question, the additional question we need to answer is what did the Army leaders, medical professionals whose job it was to supervise and provide a safe environment for our soldiers, what did they know?
This will now be a lengthy process with a military judge reviewing each and every one of those counts before moving on to a sentencing phase. Right now, Stockin is facing more than 9 years in prison. That's the story for now. Here at Joint Base Lewis McChord, I'm Chris Daniels, Como News.
So how's the college responding to this incident?
We're having a race forum.
And what's that?
A forum on race, so we can discuss the incident and the surrounding issues of race.
So the usual lip service?
No comment.
Right now, the University of Northern Iowa is facing a federal civil rights complaint. It claims that 13 separate UNI scholarships violate the Federal Civil Rights Act.
KCCI's Amanda Rooker went through the complaint and shows us the allegations. Amanda?
Well, Stacey and Ben, the federal civil rights complaint filed today claims the University of Northern Iowa committed, quote, illegal race-based and sex-based discrimination. And it was filed by the Equal Protection Project, a national advocacy group that's filed dozens of similar complaints in other states.
The federal civil rights complaint lists 13 separate University of Northern Iowa scholarships and the criteria students must meet to apply. Some of the scholarships are specifically for minority students or students with a certain racial or ethnic status. Others are for female applicants or women of color.
When you're a university and you accept federal funding, one of the things you have to agree to do is to abide by the civil rights laws.
William Jacobson, a Cornell Law School professor who leads the Equal Protection Project, says the scholarships violate the Civil Rights Act and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment.
We do not believe that the University of Northern Iowa or any school should be limiting educational opportunities based on race or sex.
The complaint cites a U.S. Supreme Court decision from 2023. That ruling effectively ended affirmative action in college admissions. And although it did not explicitly mention scholarship or financial aid, Jacobson says the ruling still applies.
But a scholarship, if it discriminates on the basis of race, it invokes the same legal principles that the affirmative action case did.
In a statement to KCCI, the ACLU of Iowa said that Supreme Court decision, quote, disregards prior precedent as well as the societal realities of race discrimination and inequality in our country, and that following that ruling, quote, groups looking to end affirmative action in higher education then targeted scholarships meant to increase access to higher education for students of color. Last year alone, KCCI found the Education Protection Project filed 10 similar complaints regarding race or sex-based scholarships against schools in Illinois, New York, Minnesota, Indiana, and Rhode Island. Jacobson says they filed over 50 legal claims against colleges and universities and a handful of K-12 school districts.
We have been very successful so far in approximately half of our cases. The institution stops the discrimination, which is our goal.
And in a statement to KCCI, a spokesperson for the University of Northern Iowa said, quote, we have not received notice from the Office for Civil Rights on this specific matter and will not have a comment on a pending legal issue. Stacey.
Amanda, thank you. We will, of course, continue to follow this developing story.
Everything that you say on the job or anything else should be just that way. And speaking of on the job, the fourth area of activity, labor, never put yourself in position of being against the agency or the company. Always say that you are the agency or the company, because that's a trick they play on you. Oh, I hear you have a grievance against the company. See the words they use? Pay attention to all the words. What you do is say, no, I don't have a grievance against the company. I have a report of subversive activity against the company. Yeah, that's what you say. Subvert. I have done it. Put it in just those words. I was called in and asked about the words. So you said subversive activity? I said, of course. I said, any injustice. Of course, I went round robin. I waited until they asked a whole bunch of questions in front of that. And they wanted to know where would I come up with subversive activity. I said, anything that promotes injustice is subversive activity. And so I'm making a report of some unjust acts. Well, who's responsible for it? Another one. Watch that trap. Say, I don't know. That's why I'm making a report. Because you, sir, I think that you are smart enough to find out. So you always take this approach, but put yourself, bottom line, put yourself in the center of the agency or the company that you work for. If you're working for it, you are an employee. Watch how they use terms sometimes. They'll say supervisors and what? No, employees. I mean, it's right in your face. Is a supervisor an employee? Business phone calls, personal phone calls. I always said I was a person making a business call. Is that official business? I am an official. Yes, but you are just a GS nobody. What'd you say? I want to get this down. See, then you go on the offense. See, all of a sudden, if they get huffy about the words that you are using, which are scientifically constructed, then what you want to do, you want to start writing. And that's another thing that you do. When they start talking, you whip out your pad and say, wait a minute, you're talking a little fast there. I want to get this down. See, this causes them to be very careful about what they say, because they know that black people usually do everything ad-lib. You know, we got a whole lot of talk off the cuff, we think. The white supremacists write stuff down. They are the master recorders. They write down everything. They record everything. people begin to find that out more and more. Oh, you are saying something? Oh, okay, let me get what you are saying. And on the job, no such thing as a black supervisor. And stop picking on the black supervisor. Superior advisor. That's what supervisor means. No, you're going to have to deal with the real power. And always figure you're alone when you do. Because chances are you are. Doesn't make any difference about what all those other black people said about how they're going to back you up. Forget that. And don't get mad at them. Accept their help as far as they'll go. But everybody has a level of fear. And when jobs getting tight and all like that, nobody who's got a job, I mean, has been on it a little while, wants to lose it. So one thing, what Fuller's going to do, after I told you that I'm with you all the way, after I think about it overnight, and this thing is coming up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm going to start saying, you know, on second thought, you know, I'm for the brother, but the brother just messed up. See, I'm going to start rationalizing now. I'm going to find all kinds of reasons. But don't you get mad at Fuller. You just say, Fuller, we need out. And, according to counter-racist logic, that's what I figured he would do. So I ain't holding it against him. I came prepared to go in there alone. And always come prepared to go in alone. Otherwise, don't go. See, we got this herd psychology. We want to look around, you know, got everybody with us. We got the tribe, see. Tribe is what got us on that boat. You got to think as an individual now. That's what United Independent means. I want to emphasize that. United Independent. Meaning you are a majority of one. You do the thinking. You be the Bill Gates of counter-racism. Just walk in and out of your own brain using counter-racist logic. Always follow the logic.
The Bill Gates of counter-racism. Like that new administration, said the Elon Musk of counter-racism. I like that. I like that. The worthless Negro from Virginia, new ring. Thank you, Dr. Maya Angelou. Make sure I say that forever. Gus T. Renegade. Context of White Supremacy. In for another broadcast, hopefully to share constructive information on the global system of white supremacy. Information for non-white people, victims of white supremacy. Today's date, Friday, January 10, 2025. So I have been told. This is our weekly summit, Neutralizing Workplace Racism. Not for spectators, and in fact, with a question survey, you might say. And this courtesy of Dr. Maya Angelou. Talked to us about worthless black dudes yesterday. She talked about getting hired for a job. And she tells white people, non-white people involved in this hiring process, and she says immediately, I lack an important skill set for this here job that you are hiring me for. And we talked about that. And they hire her anyway. But we talked about that. We said, okay, you're a black person, male or female. And people come to you and they say, hey, look here, Lakeisha, we like your spunk. You get up and go. You don't behave like the rest of your colored cousins. We want you to do this job. Come on, you are hired. And Lakeisha says, whoa, dang. You could pick out the skills and say, well, dang, I don't really know how to code. Or, you know, you could be the young lady who worked at the courthouse down in Florida. Say, dang, I don't really know how to use Photoshop or whatever. You know, I don't know how to type, you know, whatever. Do you tell them, sir, ma'am, thank you so much for the offer. I'm flattered, but I lack skill X. You know, And you could even, phrase it. It could be phrased as, oh, this is a great opportunity. Would it be possible to get some training in X just to make sure that I have all of the skills necessary to flourish in this position? Question lane, right? And sometimes you do need a little training. Make they sit down in Florida, little hand holding, right? For some of your deficiencies. We all have a few deficiencies here and there in our performance. Yes? Okay. So that could be one way, or you could just lie the whole way. Hey, I'm qualified. Sure. Thank you for the offer, and keep on rolling. And what they say, fake it till you make it and all that. I think that's pretty popular too. So which would you take? Let them know. Be honest. I lack a certain skill set, and she was even presenting it as maybe you should reconsider because I don't have the skills to do this job. And they do set up a lot of black people for failure, put us in positions where they know we are not going to succeed. So how would you handle that? Would you just fess up immediately? I don't have the skill set, asking for training or asking for reconsideration, or don't say a word. They've offered me the job, position. I'm going to take it, and hopefully all the extra nickels that come with it. Question, you can let us know. You don't have to spectate. That's one you can. If you have experienced this, that would be grand as well. As for the segments that we heard at the beginning, and I guess before we get to all of that, we do have so we have a pending inauguration. We have Dr. King's holiday next week. Black History Month is looming next month. And then we had all of the terrorist attacks, Las Vegas, New Orleans, all of that last week. None of that is fodder for discussion around the water cooler. If you have white coworkers or non-white coworkers, maybe they took a long vacation, they saved up all their personal days and paid time off and all the rest of it. They used a bunch of it at the end of the year. They took off from, the middle of December all the way through New Year's Eve. That was in the middle of the week last week, so they took off all last week too, and they have just been, killing it. They came in still a little bit tipsy when they came in the beginning of this week. Maybe they came in on Tuesday, Oh, my goodness, Leroy, I ain't seen you in a month of Sunday. You sure do look good. You didn't get no eggnog all that time? Man, you go on any vacations? How the family? Everybody good? What Santa bring you? Oh, man, you see what happened down in Texas? Oh, was that your cousin who got that truck? Killed all them people in New Orleans? It wasn't your cousin. Was your uncle? None of that. None of that. I don't have nothing to say about any of that. Nothing to say about the inauguration. Nothing to say about Dr. King's. You should be expecting some tacky, like what I just said, some tacky jokes about the King holiday next week, because that's like annual, especially now that it's like federal holiday and all that. Look out for the racist jokes. Somebody to say something crude about all of that, and or the lead into Black History Month on the horizon. Nothing to say about any of that. I don't have nothing to say about any of the sporting activities neither. Don't sit around talking to me about no brain damage ball game. Ride that all the way to the Super Bowl. No, I don't have nothing about no Super Bowl or nothing. No, Michael Jordan could play in the Super Bowl. I don't care nothing about no brain damage. And let's get back to work. You don't have to be nasty about it, but just, that'll be one they think come talk to the colored employees about a little athletic competition. No, just come talk to us about the raise. Thank you. Promotions. That's how we started. This was about promotions, not pat my homeboy, gonna get a three-peat. Promotions. I can be Bill Gates. That's how we started all. I'm trying to be Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. That's what I'm trying to be. Talk to me about some athletic sports and brain dead. Get out of here. Hey, they said the AI companies, what I just said, Elon Musk, AI companies preparing for a second Trump administration. Half of them look like they're going to be cabinet members and all the rest of them. They said the cryptocurrency spiked and all the rest. I have no ideas what this means in terms of AI companies and all of that. Non-white people are not in charge of a lot of these facilities. They've been talking a lot about Mark Zuckerberg, my homie, They're doing no more of the fact checking on posts and such. Not that I thought there was a lot of that on social media anyway, except that they will come and fuss at old Gus T. If I post something and say nigger or something like, whoa, 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 you can't say all that. They'll get me on Meta for that. But fact check, like, I don't even know. Anyway, I would expect things to be tremendous, unregulated, and we're going to be doing great. Not that they were suffering during the Biden times, but life should be grand. Maybe invest or what have you if you haven't already, but things should be grand. Maybe see if you can get a job. Let's see. The virtual employees coming for your job. Now, you don't have to do all that jokes, snickering, what'd you do for the holidays, got the picture of your children. I'm just on the job. Talking about the AI virtual assistants. Now, I don't know. Do we have any people where you work at a job where they have that sort of setup already? Some sort of virtual assistant who does, filings, appointments, coding, whatever. I don't know, especially if you have a lot of paperwork and such on your job. Man, how is that going? How has that been integrated? Do you have pushback against that already? Did that take someone's job to get this virtual assistant? I would certainly, that's why I say, I would kind of investigate your field, see what's happening, because if you work one of those jobs where it looks like, we could be vulnerable to some sort of virtual AI assistant in 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, that would be something to consider. Certainly if you have, children or what have you, I would be telling them, look at those fields and see, is this technology a part of that field? Is it going to be a part of that field in the next 5 to 10 years if you're 15 or so? That would be something to think about in terms of career choices. Moving fast. Let's see. The Amazon return to office policy. Now, you heard them talk about Seattle specifically in that report. And I don't know, the fella that they spoke to said he had some sort of mental difficulties, Joseph, where he said, oh man, I think he had a lower form of autism, I think, and he wasn't in the Seattle area directly. And they said, oh, hey, Joseph, you have to come on back to the 206 directly. We need you to be in the office all 5 days per week. Oh, man, I do not know how that's going to go at all. And even the influence, because I can say as someone who's been in the Seattle area for years and years, and specifically, I've been in the Seattle area since before COVID and after COVID. Now, for downtown specifically, around the Amazon facilities and all that, and even just other, they have all those big towers and what have you, the skyscrapers and such, all these companies that are downtown. Seattle has a big tech industry as well, Microsoft in these parts, right? Downtown prior to COVID, now it was still dangerous. I still hated being down there, but at least in the daytime, like 9 to 5 business hours, downtown was really, really crowded prior to COVID. Now, they had lots of problems and such, but it was crowded. Like, you could go downtown, you would see lots of traffic in the daytime, you'd see lots of people, the diners, coffee shop, they do coffee, right? Starbucks, right? That's, big time Seattle. You would see people out doing all of that, people out for lunch, 12 o'clock, you'd see massive lunchtime traffic where people go out and get their food or what have you, and then run back in, all of that is gone. Like, I was downtown yesterday, right? So we're all these years removed from the beginning of COVID. Things are more or less kind of back to normal. I was downtown, and it looks just like it did almost like in the middle of 2021 or so. And in fact, some of the diners and restaurants, things that they had that were open downtown to service all of the business workers, mostly white people who work downtown, those 9 to 5 jobs and such, some of that stuff has closed, hasn't even come back. Amazon being a part of that, having so many people who work from home and all the rest of it. Plus, people don't want to be downtown in Seattle. Gus included, do not want to be downtown in Seattle with all that crime and traffic and everything else. Like, oh my God. So I have no idea how that's going to go. And the key word at the end of that segment was, we're going to see what the enforcement of this policy looks like. Now, white people can take that sort of position on a lot of jobs. Now, even though they talked to Joseph moving back and seemingly grumbling about it and even saying, I don't know if I'm going to stick it out, that white defiance and all the rest of it, he said, we going to see. You going to make us come in. What you going to do if I don't come in? That sort of, hey, I have seen jobs in situations like that before with white people specifically where maybe we enforce the policy, maybe we don't. I wouldn't advise you to think that way as a non-white person, but oh yeah, I've seen that with a lot of things. With white COVID taught me so much, man. So you might have to make some of us come back, and you might even have to fire some of us. If you're saying we got to, I'm not even interested in moving back to Seattle from wherever I moved to. Might have moved out of state even. I'm not interested in coming back to Seattle, fighting through all that slog and everything else, to work at no Amazon. So do what you do. But they've been talking about that here in the Seattle parts for a minute. And having some folks worried and nervous, and what are we going to do? Are they going to fire us? And yum. I don't want to come back all 5 days. File that one under white people problems, because I don't think it was tons of black people who've been chilling. Like I said, now we did have some non-white people who got that sort of, power, enjoyment, where white people allowed them to be home. But I don't think we had tons of non-white people who've been chilling in their footies, doing Zoom meetings, got to move to a state other than where they were hired at. I don't have to go in. I just have to go in, fire up my computer, got my mouse jiggler, and I'm ready to roll. If we got those folks, you can let us know. Interestingly, now, did you hear in the report now when they got to talking, like maybe what they really want is to weed out about 10% of their employees. Get folks to quit voluntarily. They don't have to do the severance package and all that, and we downsize, do it efficiently. Maybe. We'll have to see. But when they were talking about all that, you hear they went to talk to Nick Bloom, Stanford economist. That was a Seattle story. They could have went right to the University of Washington. They got economists, worthy, learned economists, at the University of Washington. That's not what they did. Gotta go to Palo Alto. What do you think about what's happening with Amazon? Oh, wise scholar from Stanford, Nick Bloom. Anyhoodles, they talked about the wage boost for the healthcare workers in Nevada. Now that segment, I didn't have audio. That was NPR. I didn't have video. That was NPR. The accent of the person speaking leads me to believe this might be someone who speaks Spanish, might be someone who's classified as non-white. I don't know. Didn't sound like any of the other folks who were speaking when they were talking about getting a raise for doing all of this health work. Now, again, last week, the metaphor, the silver tsunami, all of these aging white people who are going to need someone to come in and change their bedpans, someone to come in and help me, get a bath, a sponge bath, and remember all the medications that I got to take, my Ozempic and my Viagra and everything else. You're going to need somebody to do all of this. And they've been sending in, even got to send out overseas and such to bring in people to do this. We've heard lots of reports about this, and then you don't even pay these folks anything. Don't even give them basic benefits, man. Basic benefits. She said she was in her 50s. Said, I'm getting older myself, man. I need to be thinking about my own retirement and health and checkups and everything that they advise you start to get old. Say, hey, make sure you go in. That way you can do more preventive care and don't wait until things get bad and then, get it taken care of and all the rest of it. I don't even have benefits like that. You expect me to come in, and that is really grueling work. We have people that do healthcare work. You might have to be picking people up and helping them get out of bed and all the rest of it. That is really grueling work. Not to mention the toll that can take on your own health. Not to mention that you have to work during a global health pandemic. They might not even have personal protective equipment to give you. Anywho, they don't want to even give out a reasonable wage to these non-white workers. That's another one. You got folks, if you're working in that field, like, man, I would have to be real honest about, if I'm going into any sort of nursing or healthcare, like I do not want to be in that sort of job where I'm going to be stuck, no benefits, working these really almost slave hours and shifts, and it's not, any progress per se. Sometimes you get in those type of jobs and your salary can cap out and you're just doing this for, 10, 15 years or whatever until you retire, until you get sick yourself or back gives out or something of that nature. Nah. And then they might be short-staffed, so they got to overwork you and all of that. Nah. Be honest about that if you go into that field from the very beginning. That's when, like I said, I would want to talk to people who do this job way before we even get started. Like, what has the last 5 years of your job been like? What's, you anticipate the trajectory of your career. What's that going to look like over the next 10 years, per se? What do you think? And let them tell you. This would be important, too, because the last 5 years would include COVID, what all that, was like. So, and ask a lot of questions. Tell them to be detailed about it. Are you happy in your work? Compensation, benefits, You get dental benefits at least. I like going out and smile. I might see somebody cute. I want to smile at them. You get dental benefits? At least get my teeth cleaned up and everything after all this stress? She said, nope, I don't even do that. Like, what? I at least need my teeth, man. Like, come on. Let's see. They said they did give him a raise, but that's only Nevada. That's not no federal thing. They said they did give him a raise. Whoopee. But that's just Nevada. Let's see. The firefighters in Houston, now they do have a large population of black people in Houston. I do not know, that was audio. I don't know the demographics in terms of non-white people, black people on the fire department in Houston, but they do have a healthy population of dark people. It should be black people on the fire department. They were talking about the mental health toll. Now, I don't think I've heard that. We've heard lots of reports about racism in the fire department, not hiring black people, males or females, and then mistreating the black people that they do hire, and although we've heard lots of reports about all of that, I don't think I've ever heard a report about mental health for firefighters specifically, because that is also, in a different way, really taxing work. People die, and then they get called out. Retired firefighter has told us you get called out for a lot of calls that may not be a fire per se. It might be a medical emergency of some sort, or a car accident, or whatever. All of that is really traumatizing too. Do you have mental health resources? Someone that you can go and talk to? Even they said in the report, like, if you're feeling some type of way, if I say something, am I going to get fired? Oh man, now I'm being encouraged a lot. Like, oh no, I'm fine. We just went on that call and we had 3 deaths, but I'm good. Let's roll. That's, horrible too. So, hopefully, folks who work those sort of first responder type jobs, hopefully they have evolved. It's almost 2040. Hopefully they do have that standard operating procedure. We have mental health counselors and all that readily available. No fear of retribution. Let us know and go hang out. We'll make time for it. You won't miss your job and all of that. Confidential, all of that. Hopefully it has evolved, but and like I said, I would be curious to know now how many black people do they have on the fire department in Houston, city with a lot of black people. Let's see. And then the report, the JBLM doctor pleading guilty to sexually assaulting all these service members, male service members. I was not staggered, like, what? You never seen this before? Like, come on. Jerry Sandusky, come on now. But man, 40 sexual abuse charges. All these males. He's going to get 13 years behind bars, which in my opinion is kind of light. Major Michael Stockin, who is a white dude. All these dozens of people touching their genitals under the guise of medical treatment while working at a pain clinic at the Joint Base Lewis McChord. I don't know, man. And he served at all these facilities all over the continent and Hawaii. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if anything, I've said for a long time, system of white supremacy, you have to talk to your children, male and female, boys and girls, about racism and sexual abuse. Particularly when you go on these jobs, You have to expect, male or female, there's going to be a day, probably, where there's some sort of sexual misconduct directed at me, male or female, because there's so many cases. Matter of fact, Jerry Sandusky, I just said Jerry Sandusky. Is that you acting like they only have sexual abuse cases at Penn State? That's the only school where a white faculty member went and raped and molested some children. Notre flipping Dame. National championship game next week. Ooh, Catholic. They had that case just a couple years ago. I think this is more recent than Jerry Sandusky. It was a white female staff member. She was tutoring, call herself, football players for Notre Dame, and she was manipulating them into having sexual intercourse with her white daughter. Now, this just happened within the last 10 years. And that's their job. Now, this was before NIL or whatever, so now that's even more flagrant. This is a job, doing these sports or whatever for the university. If you're on the basketball team, volleyball team, whatever, that is a job. You should be compensated for it. And up there, well, I could tutor you, Leroy, but, I got my niece and daughter Peggy here, a little lonely. They need a little sexual healing, Leroy. Before we get to this calculus, come on. You're going to have to talk to your children, males and females, about sexual abuse, and they cannot be stunned about any of this. They putting Major Michael Stockin putting his hands on the genitals with no gloves and all this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Immediately, that's one of those, the gift of fear, too. Like, as soon as something feels a little off about this or what, like, stop. Exit. Black self. As soon as something is just something, signal from the creator is telling me you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing, Stockton. Like, back up off me. I'm out of here. Stop and report. But this has been going on for years. They probably knew about this. Probably the same thing with Sandusky, where they knew about this for years. They knew about this for years. And it is the same thing where he gets sent to all these places. He go there and molest some people, and maybe somebody said something or some questions be raised, and he just gets moved all of a sudden to Maryland. Then he gets moved over here. And ooh. White people generally do not snitch on other white people. That's probably a big reason why this went on for so long. 41 men. 41 dudes. Come on, it's probably way more than that. Come on. Anyway, talk to your offspring about sexual abuse. This would be another one. So if you're going into the military, I always say Lavina Johnson, facts. It would be lots of things to consider before. Am I going to enlist, do my 4 years, make all these benefits, and I go to school and blah, blah, blah. It would be a lot of things to think about before you do all that. Lavina Johnson. Michael Stockin. Stockin, Stockin, Michael Stockin. It'd be a lot of things to think about. Now, you could enlist or not, and this would still be a problem in terms of being victim of some sexual predator or what have you. I'm just saying, it would definitely be something. I think even it was suggested that Lavina Johnson might have been a victim of sexual abuse, too, before being killed. It would be lots to think about. Any hoodles, we'll get to the University of Iowa district. We'll get to that later. Any hoodles. The number 605-313-5164. The code 564-943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. Do you fake it or do you fess up? White supervisor or non-white, they come, offer you a job or promotion, but there is a skill set for this job that you lack. Do you make that known, or keep it to yourself? Fake it till you make it. Let us know. And if we have any folks who've experienced this directly, that would be even better. Let us know how you dealt with this, and Did it work out? Were you able to just, you took the job, didn't say anything about it, and then picked up the skills on the job training, as they say? Or did it become a problem where they realized, like, hey, you're a little ignorant, Leroy. We shouldn't have hired you for this position? Let us know what you think. Let's see. Folks who dialed in with a hand up, proceed.
Can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Take it till I make it. It depends on the skill set. Greetings to you all. Thank you for taking my call. It depends on the skill set. I didn't hear any of the commentary because I just chimed in. But if I were offered a job, and depending on the skill, depending on what I needed to know, I would fake it till I make it. So that means I would learn whatever it is that I had to do. Now, if they ask me, I'm not going to lie. But if they don't ask me, I might not say that I don't know how to do it. I'm just going to learn how to do it. So that's just me telling the truth. Let's see. Workplace racism. So last week, I forgot to tell you, because we were talking about Christmas bonuses and stuff. Everybody hates Chris. So I took off work and didn't and I used my time, and so I changed my time because they made me go back in and change my my time that I used. They made me do it this way. They must have changed how you implement it, so I had to redo it. So when I redid it, I put in the real time that I clocked out, which was because we had that. Remember, we had that Thanksgiving party or some kind of, no, maybe it was a Christmas party. Yeah, we had a Christmas party. So I put out the real time because I really thought I was getting off at 4:30, and I didn't get off at 4:30. And then they were teasing me. I thought you said you were going to run out of here at 4:30. I'm like, oh, but I can't leave these kids here. So when I had to redo my time sheet, I put the real time. So then I guess they got mad. So the last week they said, the agency, they like, okay. So I got off at 5 o'clock on the 20th of December. So I put 5 o'clock. I usually get off at 6. I put 5 because we left early because the people came and got their insurance. So then they go to me and talking about, prove that you got off at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. I'm like, oh, my God. So I didn't get my check from the 20th until Tuesday. What was that, the 7th? So I just wanted to share that because I thought that was interesting. So we're going to bring it a little forward. We only had a 4-day week this week. We had a 4-day week. I did tell the young man when I did that, I let him know, the supervisor, when I did the custodian stuff, I let him know what happened, how it went for me, filling his position, just so he'll know what to do moving forward. Back to school. So, Gus, you know what I noticed? I'm the oldest person there. I think it might be 2 people older than me there. Maybe 3. And they're not doing what I'm doing. So I noticed that I'm the only person that plays with these children outside. So there could be 500 adults there outside, and I'm the only one that plays with these children. I noticed that. Now, this was my last day of doing recess to where they're able to even catch me to play with them. I took over somebody else's schedule because they weren't there this week, so the schedule was a little different. During this week, the principal of the school announced that he was not coming back to the school, which was a little not what I wanted to hear because I enjoyed the principal. So he waited till it was time for us to go to tell us because we probably would have left. And then next thing I know, the next few days, there's people, the CEO of the school is coming to the school, people from the spread department are coming from school, people in different color clothing and suits are coming to the school. So they were asking something about the parent educators, asking the principal and the assistant principal. So the principal said, well, if you want to know anything about a parent educator, why don't you ask me? Because she's one of our best paraeducators. And I don't know. So they said, oh, we already know her. So I'm minding my own business with this child that I had. And I'm normally not at lunch. So I'm never at lunch unless it's an emergency. I don't go to lunch with the children. I guess they wanted to know how come it wasn't enough parents out there for lunch. I'll never be available to do lunch because that's not what I do. I was at lunch with a child that I had, and then we all sit at the same table from the same special day class. So they asked me to come in. I said, okay, hi. They said, they're over behavior. They're the heads of the behavior department in the region. So they asked me about my skills being a registered behavior technician. How does that help me in my job? I said, I work off behavior, so it helps me completely. And then they said, how do you think it would help do you think it would be helpful if the other parents had your training? I said, I'm sure it would help them and the children. I'm sure that would help them and even the children if they're trained to deal with behavior, since these children have behaviors. And it's like, okay. So then I went upstairs. I took a couple of children with me to go to class, and I guess the other children, maybe they go to recess or something after lunch. But we go upstairs because we had our recess first. Then we go to lunch. So I'm taking a couple of children upstairs. So I see these people upstairs, the same people that saw me in the cafeteria. So I'm like, hey, come here. We want to see how you'll deal with this girl. Angry girl. So they want to see how I would deal with an angry girl. I was like, oh, my favorite. And they're like, oh, but wait. We have the principal's voice. Never mind. So they wanted to see how I would deal with angry girls' behavior because I'm, I guess, registered to deal with behavior. I don't know. So I don't know what was really going on or what the setup was, but the BCBA yesterday said she didn't like that they did that and put me on the spot like that because it makes it seem like maybe I'm the only one trained to deal with the behavior, so maybe I would be the one dealing with the behavior. I don't know what's going on either. I was hoping maybe they would train these people and then pay them more. I don't know. I'm the only person. Not only am I the only person trained to deal with these children on the floor, I don't mean like case managers or the board certified behavior analysis. I don't mean them. I just mean in general as people. I'm the only one trained, and I'm the only one that's not a part of your company because I'm through an agency. So I don't know how that's going to work. But I just noticed it's real strange. So then the regional people, they're still coming around. It's like, hi. And then the principal, he's being extra with me because maybe he knows that I like him, especially after he said he was quitting. So I don't know what's really going on. He did a good job, though. While he was there, he did bring the numbers up, the reading levels up. We got the 5-year renewal for charter. So he's done a lot in his 6, 7, 8 years there. He has done a lot. And I don't want to be selfish because there's no – he can't elevate anymore in that position at that school unless he goes in another direction and do some regional stuff as well. So it's interesting week, especially me paying attention to the fact that I'm the only one that literally engages with the children. I can't. And now I'm noticing people watching me because somebody's like, oh, I took a picture of you outside. I'm like, let me see. Yeah, I couldn't get you because you were blocking the child because I go feed the birds. And since we feed the birds, and I'm not the only one feeding them, there's people in the neighborhood that feed them too because it's a large park next to the school. So it's like 60 seagulls, 20-something geese, and because we count them too as just so we're working while we're outside. So, and they all want our bread. So now the little young man, because we're outside, he likes dogs. So he did an art and craft paper. And the dog was on the table, so we did a little project where we made a dog. He made a dog. So he takes the dog home yesterday. So he brought the dog back today. So he's like, we're going to go play tag. We're going to take the ball. We're going to do tricks. We're going to take naps. He's a super napper. So we're going to take naps. And so that's what he does. So he holds it with us. So he brought it back. So today he made a dog house for the dog. So he took the dog house and the dog with him. And he's like, we're going to play fags. We're going to take naps. He's a big napper. He's a big napper. So he got the dog house and dog today and took it home. So I'm going to see if he bring it back on Monday. And then I got to think of something. I'll figure it out. But we'll think of something to do next since he's so into dogs now. And okay, I'll leave you guys alone. Thank you for taking my call. I'll mute my line.
Much obliged, Bay Area mom. All eyes on you, indeed. Talk about that all the time as well. In the workplace, if you're classified as black, all eyes on you. They might even be taking pictures, have the cameras on you. Click, 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 taking videos, all of that. Got to study your behaviors and techniques. All eyes indeed. She said, now, I'm just paying attention to things here in the workplace. She said, I'm not the youngest person here. You know, I didn't graduate from high school last year. Some of you all, you know, should have quite a bit more pluck and vigor than myself. Out here we got all these young people. Why is it that I'm the only one out here playing with these children? Now, they might have said, you know, hey, we got all these wildfires in California. My lungs sensitive. I don't do all that, you know, going around outside and stuff. Or they kind of funny with the benefits around here. I can't mess around out there and ruin my ACL with Leroy. Like, no. Yeah, you do all that. I'm going to stay inside, sit, drink my coffee, and prepare these lessons, keep my Achilles in good condition. They may have said that. But dang, we at the school, like, we got all these young, and I mean, they got like 11, 12-year-olds and such, like, can't come kick it, can't do capture the flag, and not shoot a few hoops with us? Dang. Lazy. She said the principal, who I think is a non-white person, she said the principal said he is not coming back. Dang. With no continuity? Who's going to be the new principal? Where do we go from here? How's that good for morale and all the rest of it? Just, That's what they expect, though, where staff is not really valued and all the rest of it, just passing through, shuffling through, get what I can while I'm here and keep it moving. She said the folks come in, I guess they're doing some sort of evaluation of the school, how they're teaching and all the rest of it. And, oh, man, yeah, we told us to check you out. Like, wow, you'd be a great one to evaluate. Now, I mean, like I said, I think she's told us before about how they had different people who've come in and they want to watch a classroom and that sort of thing. So I guess to a degree, you kind of expect that with the school. But, I mean, I have never heard that before. Like, oh, man, we got this girl and she's acting out. Oh, yeah, you come work with us so we can watch. Yeah. What? What is going on? Like, that doesn't seem good for the child, anybody. Like, what? Come on. And then they come back later on and rethink. They're like, yeah, that probably wasn't the best way to go about this. And yes, making it seem like, is she the only one who's trained to deal with these young people? It does seem that way from time to time, although her salary doesn't reflect this. What to say, man? What to say? Just embarrassing. And that would be another illustration. Now, when you play around with sex, the joke is on the offspring. They send you to school where maybe only one staff member is trained to appropriately deal with these children, your child. Pitiful, right? Pitiful. She answered our query, too. She said, Barry and Mom, if it was she, and they offered her some sort of job or what have you, even if she didn't have the training, she said she would fake it until she made it. I'm not going to, hey, I don't have these skills or whatever. She said, importantly, I would fake it until I make it, and I would get the skill set. That is important, too. If you know, whatever it is, coding, typing, whatever it is, Photoshop, whatever it is that I don't have, I'm going to pick up that skill set on my own and keep it moving. Love it. Other folks who dialed in, hand up. The number is 605-313-5164. The code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate.
Can I be heard?
Z's mommy, yes ma'am.
Greetings. To answer your question, I agree with Barry, your mom. I'm depending on how intricate or how difficult the skill is, I would probably be honest. But if it was something that I had like an idea of, I can like at least learn the basics or have some like that level of understanding on my own in like a weekend or in a couple weeks or in a month, then I would probably tell them that, yes, I remember doing projects with this, but I probably need a little bit of time just to like, sharpen up my skills again or refamiliarize myself with it, but I have experience in it. That's what I would say. If it was like something like Excel or something where I could actually watch videos online and do some, make some graphs or make some sheets over a couple of weeks, that's probably what I would do. I know for my current job, I was just told the truth because it was like, it was AutoCAD, which is like a drafting program, and it was a requirement for the job, but I told them I had no experience with it because that's not a program I could easily I know you have to pay to download it, and I don't think that I would know and would be able to pick up those skills quickly enough. So that's my opinion on that. I think it's depending, but most likely I would probably be honest. Yeah. I thought I think the clip about the Amazon worker was really interesting because I just went back into the office and I had been working from home over the winter holiday because I had a lot of work to do. So I asked if I could work from home, even though a lot of people usually take that winter holiday as a break. And I got so much work done, even when I was visiting my family members. And then when I came back into the office this week, my productivity went down severely. And I really resonated with him when he was saying the amount of just distractions of being in the office, and 5 days is a lot. I consider my work from home days my more productive days, and I also have an open office plan, and it's incredibly loud, and a lot of people are incredibly inconsiderate, and I also don't try to wear headphones or listen to music while I work because I like to be completely focused. So it makes it even harder for me to focus, whereas I think other people don't care as much because they're just playing their music really, really loud. There's a person who sits right across from me, and she takes calls. In her meetings, she has 3 to 4 meetings a day, and you can hear them. They're so loud. Like, there's people on the other side of the office who say that her meetings are really distracting, and I sit right across from her. And I remember I was actually on a call while she was on a call, and the person I was on a call with said to me, "I don't understand how you can think with this person being so loud next to you." And I said the same thing. I think she has noise canceling headphones, so she can't hear how loud she is. But yeah, they moved me from a quieter area to a much louder area because I think they wanted me to socialize more. I think I brought that up before. Oh, and I thought that the care work clip was really interesting too, because I thought it was interesting that she was saying that she was picking up a lot of shifts to get more money, because people like that aren't getting compensated for the amount of travel they have to do, the traffic. It's a lot different than like a job where you're salaried, or even a job where you're on the clock but you get paid as long as you're on the clock. This is a job where you're not getting paid for the time and energy to get from here to there. That's how it was for me when I was tutoring. Like, it was okay money, but when you take into consideration the amount of expenses, it made it not really feasible. And then I thought it was interesting. I was talking to my sister today. She works in retail in a pretty, affluent area. And she said that her coworker told her the last 4 people that she had helped lost their homes in the fire. I thought that was just like really jarring and interesting, because where she was working, I think, I don't want to say where she works, but it was kind of a place for non-essentials. So I thought it was really interesting that they were there. And then the last thing I wanted to say was I had a moment that reminded me of Neely Fuller when he talks about, I hope it's Neely Fuller, I'm pretty sure it is, when he talks about how white people don't get fired, they get transferred. So I think I was talking about last time about the white male who said he only likes working with certain people that he's attracted to, and he has really, really failed laterally. He pretty much like ruined the project that we were on and ruined the relationship with our client, that they had to switch him out with a different engineer. And instead of firing him, because he already says he says he has performance reviews every year and they tell him the same thing, and he refuses to change because he doesn't think it's necessary. So now they've just given him a permanent position on site, so he's just like not in the office, because I think one of my bosses really despises him. But so now he's on site permanently, which when you go on site, you make a significant amount of money. But they've taken away certain engineering tasks. So essentially he's like a construction manager at this point, which is better because that's, I think, what his skill set is more tailored to. But I just thought it was really interesting because I do not believe that I could not just fail significantly, but not take anyone's advice and not listen to my superiors and still have that job. I think that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Dang. That is being a white man. That, in fact, that's not white privilege. That is white power. You can go out and embarrass the whole company. She said he done soured the relationship with the client. What? That's the sort of thing that they normally go out and, oh my goodness, Mr. Reynolds, let me be the first to apologize on behalf of everyone at the company for this experience. This, falls way short of our expectations. We'll say his name was Reggie, incompetent white man. And this fella, he no longer works for the company. Let me rest assured, this is well below our standards and will not be tolerated. That's the sort of speech that they make. Make it free, send you a box of gourmet cheese and caviar and all that. Get back in your good graces. Not with a white fella. He gets switched out, transferred, and it doesn't even seem like he took a hit. It doesn't seem like she didn't tell us that people talk bad and snicker about him around, and much less, wait a minute, I'm going to be arrogant about this too. You don't tell me what to do. You don't advise me. I know how to do it. Leroy Intelligent. Shh, shut up. Don't be giving me no tips. I got it. Hush up. I got it. And then find out you don't got it, and you done ruined the whole thing. Everybody would be talking about what a lame Leroy is. She said, it seems like the boss don't even like this dude. How did he get the job to begin with? Like, what in the world? You're not good at your job. You're arrogant and think you're better at your job than you really are. And important white people don't like you? How did you get this job? White power. Now, we could even find out that the white man that doesn't like him, that's his cousin. Or his cousin is in HR or whatever. But I mean, dang, see, that's why I point that out all the time. I don't gripe. I don't contest. People say that Gus T, unprofessional. He doesn't know how to talk to people. They don't go and recommend me for jobs and every other grant for podcasters and independent journal. None of they do the exact. I don't mess around with that coon. Ooh, Lord. People go to share the podcast. What are you sharing this for? That coon? Oh, my God. That's what they do. You get an incompetent, unprofessional white man, can't even be fired. And then this is the same fella, I like to get a old tender, attractive mentee. I really can't even properly advise someone unless they're nice and attractive, young, fertile. Like, that alone would be grounds for firing. If it was Leroy, like, what? He about to set us up for some kind of lawsuit or something? Never mind. Get that cardboard box, Leroy. Thank you for your services. Not with a white man. He might have been flirting with the clients too. Like, come on. Anyway, I have heard that before. Now, she commented, Z's mommy, she said that having to be back in the office and all the noise, we've heard that from lots of people, lots of rowdy white people in the workplace making noise. And frequently this is noise that has nothing to do with the job. This would just be, I brought a Nerf football in and, let's reenact the college playoffs. Okay, ooh. That sort of thing. Just goofiness, unprofessionalism, lots of that, especially like holidays and all that. We just want to make noise and be stupid just for the, no reason. Other people are trying to, where she says she has an open office because you have people that have cubicles and that sort of thing. Lots of that where people are just being loud and you can't even get work done efficiently, where lots of people said the same thing that she did. I'm at home. I don't have all that. I can set up in my kitchen or what have you. Even people who have like roommates and small children and such, even lots of them said, I'm way more productive at home. I don't have all these interruptions. I don't even need a mouse jiggler. I can just get to it, cracking, boom, 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 knocking everything out, boom, boom, boom. And we're done. Got free time even. I've heard that from lots of folks, especially even lots of black people. You don't have all the racist distractions and everything too. Lame. She said other people even came in and said, Lord, child, it is so loud and boisterous over here. I don't know how you can think. That reminded me of Dr. Welsing when she talked about that nursery, making all that racket with those young children. she trying to do counter-racist research, and Jesus, shut up, I'm in my house, and y'all are being loud. Z's mommy said she was trying to, I feel the same way. I don't even know how I can think with all this racket. It's supposed to be a work office. This is not a bar, brothel. White people getting that. That's another one. Now, if that was a whole lot of black people in the workplace, now I could be totally wrong. I don't know where she works at, what it looks like, anything. But I seriously doubt it's a whole lot of dark complexion people in there making all this racket. Do my Dave Chappelle interpretation, you do your Richard Pryor interpretation. I seriously doubt that's what's happening. Whole office full of dark folks just chortling all day long. White people in the workplace, lots of that. And even with that, that's the correct thing to do in terms of what she said. I don't like wearing headphones in the workplace. That's what I've said. In the workplace, if you're a non-white person, you cannot be sitting up in there with Beats, earbuds, none of that. And you got both of them on. At max, you can have one in, even if they're loud and all that. Cannot be having noise-canceling headphones on to block all that, because they might be talking about you. Or other black people. Or plotting on you once they see, because we've heard that from other people. Like, they race soldiers in the office like, oh, is that nigger got the headphones on? She can't hear us? Okay, let's get back to that. And they get on with all their races. They're like, nope. Got to be paying attention. Just know what's happening around you in the workplace. But, man, all that noise and such, like, I hate that. I hate all that unnecessary racket just, she said you got people talking on the phone, and they're going to say, let me put you on speakerphone. And a lot of times they're not even talking about work-related material. I'm just talking about nonsense. You going to see Bronny James tonight? What you think? You going to go to the game? Okay, we went to the game. All right. Come on, man. Seriously, even though I was being serious about that, they'll put you on speakerphone to talk about nonsense. She said her sister was out there working, and then for the people that she went to work with, their homes burned down. Like, man, I have lots to say about the fires. I didn't have that in for workplace racism, but Jesus Christ, man, I don't even know what to say. If you work in an environment, California, SoCal, they have wildfires, anything like that, like, man, all that, you got to check the news. That would be number one. Check the news. Are we in danger? Do we need to leave? Forget what the jobs say. They might have their policy. You can check that in advance. Do we get to clear out of here? Are they going to make us work until the house burns down, until the office burns down? Like, what is their policy? But we need to ride. Like, that is, Jesus, 4 of the people that I've gone to work with and all that, their house burned down? Like, whoa, that is way close for comfort. Jesus, like, I mean, man, I don't even know what to say. That has been scary, seeing all of that down in the California region. The air quality alone, I can't even imagine the air quality alone, because they have big maps up just showing all of that smoke and debris and everything in the air and how the wind is pushing it, and you can see it from the satellite photos. Like, wow. Condolences to all of the folks down there. Hopefully taking excellent care of yourself for air quality, especially air filter, and they had recommendations for, try to do your best with all that. But man, that is serious. Everything happening in that area. This is at least the second set of wildfires they've had since I've been down there, end of October. Man, much obliged. Z's mommy, dealing with all the noise. Did you have more, Z's mom?
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to bring up 2 more points. I was reminded about it when you said about the headphones, and I'll make it quick. The first one, I was overhearing a conversation with 2 of the head, people in my department, and they were talking about conspiracy theories. And then they were like, oh, yeah, there's so many interesting conspiracy theories going on. Have you heard the one about Michelle Obama, about how she's a man and that she's actually Barack Obama's close friend, and that that she transitioned, and they were talking about it. And when I think one of them even said, like, it's really interesting, really convincing sometimes talking to these conspiracy theorists. That was the first one. And then the second one, I was talking to I was walking past, or my boss walked past me, and then we were having a conversation, and he asked me if he thought that if I thought that he was aggressive, and I said that he says things, he can say aggressive things in a witty manner, so he makes like a lot of kind of like passive aggressive jokes. And he said, I want to tell you that I only act this way because I'm incredibly insecure, and I want to give you some life advice, that only a person who's as incredibly insecure as me would treat people how they do. And then my other coworker, who's non-white, she basically because she works with him more, she basically told me, like, when he talks to you, just don't respond or give any sort of emotional response, and he'll eventually walk away, because she's had to deal with him and his like really rude and aggressive jokes, or passive aggressive jokes. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Dang, that is wow. Dang. I guess with the former, again, you can't wear headphones in the workplace. You can have one earbud in. That's about the max. Really, if you want to be slick, put on the headphones, but you're not listening to anything. They think you can't hear them, but you can. Or you just do the one earbud in. Either or. You cannot be, I'm rocking, got my tunes on, and yeah, Beyonce, yeah. No. You never know what they might be talking about in the workplace. Now, that first one, she said, they're talking about former First Lady Michelle Obama. I want you all to ponder for a moment if this had been like Neely Fuller Jr., Al Sharpton, you, especially, you're a black dude. You had been in the workplace. You're at the water cooler, cafeteria. You're out chit-chatting. You're like, man, they got all these old, conspiracy theories and such. We'll give it to Jimmy Carter. He's no longer with us. That old Rosalind Carter, you hear the one they said, Rosalind Carter is really a man. She transitioned and said, grew up as Roger. She transitioned over Rosalind, and she not really married to Jimmy. They just homies and things. And he said, it's kind of convincing. I kind of looked at her and Roger, and they had pictures up of Roger, and they had next to like, man, are you serious? Neely would have had a cardboard. Let's get it. We can't have Negroes talking this way about the First Lady at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Let's get on out of here. Get it? Let's go. What? Are you serious? Like, what? And then talking openly in front of God and everybody in the world. Like, what? That Rosalind, she really got a penis, I send you an article. Like, what? What does it mean to be? It seemed like something like that ought to be a violation of human rights policy. I mean, not human rights, maybe that too, but the human resources policy and procedure. Like, what? What in the world does this have to do with the job? I mean, really, I know we've been away. We had the holiday, and I haven't seen you in a while, but I mean, what? What? And that you would be so comfortable, so cavalier to just everybody. Yeah, I'll send you the link too. Did you see? Roger, it's true. It's true. Like, what? Anyway, and that is so popular. White people invest so much time. Michelle Obama is a man. She's got a penis. I've got pictures. It's true. They have spent like a good decade saying that Michelle Obama is Michael, and man not, woman not. They got whole books on that. The second component where the white fella, I don't even know, maybe he's revealing a moment of truth. Someone to behave like this, I do it because I'm deeply insecure. What? I would just put that in the journal. Write that down. Okay. This is kind of a dangerous white man. And that even confirms, like, even have to think about that. She said the other non-white employee came and said, girl, do not invest nothing emotionally. Don't respond emotionally. You just want him to leave you alone. That sounds like a total predator. Like, what? Jesus, that's why I'm staggered equally in different ways from both of those responses. Like, Michelle Obama has a penis? Just the frequency of white people drifting back to this all the time, and then you're bringing it up in a workplace? And I'm so insecure, I must mask my frailties by behaving this way. Why can't you just be a courteous professional in the workplace? What's wrong with that? Wow. Dan, that would be another reason why I wouldn't wear headphones. And even he precipitated that whole exchange because he comes up, look at here, sees mommy, do you think I'm aggressive? What? Even that's kind of a setup because, like, man, how do you get some jobs? Be like, well, Mr. Jackson, yes. What? You think I'm aggressive? Okay, I'll remember that. Mouthy coon calling me aggressive. Like, wow. Why would you even ask me a question like that? I'd even say for some folks to buy a little time might be, what do you mean aggressive? Now, she said sometimes you say things that are a little bit aggressive, but you say them in a witty manner. Maybe that calmed him enough to give all that about, I'm insecure and such. But, man, even the non-white female, she heard all of that. Thankfully, she didn't have on no headphones. She heard all that. Don't even respond, girl. Just, nah. He's dangerous. You got to watch him. Woo! That is, if anything, that's another reason you don't wear headphones in the workplace. It might not be talking to you. They might be talking to somebody else, but it's something that you need to hear. You don't wear headphones in the workplace. Beyond all of that, wow. Even the responses to, even with what she said, though, that is super counter-racist logic, because I am not about, that's why I say we're not a family in the workplace. I don't want to do all these cards and such for Christmas time, and somebody's having a child or whatever. I'm good. I don't want to sign the card. They said last week, hey, you got, $10 you want to put in? Julie's getting married. Like, hey, I'm hurting. Bro, you got $5 that I can have, in fact, because I'm hurting. I'm struggling. This is not no family. We're not a team. We just work together. That's all. So it shouldn't be a lot of emoting and I have lots of feelings about this and that. No, we just work together. And a lot of us, we don't even work together in a courteous and professional manner. So guard up, as they say. Got to be careful in dealing with you all. Wow. Michelle Obama. She's not even in the White House. Now, I imagine what that would have sounded like if we could rewind like 7 years, put Obese back in the White House. They're not even seeing her the way that they were when, it was Obama times, all these years later, and then they, Michelle, that's really a he. What? Why are you talking about this at work? Get the bots, man. We don't have to worry about that with the virtual bots. They might take some jobs, but we will never have the virtual bots in there talking about, Michelle got a penis. This is important. We got to focus on this, y'all. That is Michael. Let's just get the bots. Other folks who dialed in, the number 605-313-5164, the code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. The email untiljustice@gmail.com. Let us know. Questions still courtesy Dr. Angelou. You get hired for a job or you get recommended for promotion, but there's a particular skill set with this new job, new title, that you don't have. Do you share that information? Do you let your potential employer, boss, supervisor, whatever, do you let them know up front, hey, I'm a little lacking in this one front, training or what have you, and I'll be good to go? Or do you keep quiet about all that, pick up the skills, on the job or what have you, but don't say a word about any of your deficiencies? Let us know. If you've dealt with this sort of thing, you can let us know that too. Let's see. Email number 1. Non-white female writes in. She says, things that have happened just this week. Hot start to 2025. Number 1. Don't let the words Zoom, Z-O-O-M, out of your mouth. I went into a Zoom breakout room with one of my colleagues, a black female from Mississippi, to talk about what has happened to her since last season. She is doing well at home, and her other job, lovely black vegan, joined us, and we were just talking because work was slow. Then Miss Mississippi asks us about hearing something in our prior day's team meeting with more colleagues and our manager. Lovely black vegan and I say no. Well, another black female colleague was speaking to someone in her personal area. Mind you, our meetings are in Zoom because this is a virtual position and we are a virtual team, and using profanity. I'm kind of listening on my phone because I was using my work computer to support our experts, customer-facing employees, in another Zoom session, so I am missing some of the team meeting. I guess I really missed something. The other black female screams out, according to Miss Mississippi, something to the effect of, they can come and eat my yikes. P word, as in cat. Yikes. To someone in her personal environment. Okay, so it looks, I think they might have been talking to someone, if I'm reading this correctly, personal environment, I'm reading that, so maybe they were talking to someone, I don't know, in their residence or something. They were not talking to someone in the virtual Zoom conference. Maybe they're talking to someone in their residence in another room, or I don't know, whatever, that type of a thing. And they just overheard this, perhaps. Continuing. Of course, this is an issue because the other members of our team, different races and ethnicities, hear her. The meeting stops for a second, and our white male manager says, don't worry about it, and they will keep going with the meeting. Miss Mississippi had tried to mute the other black female before that came out, but she did not have muting capabilities like in our main room. Miss Mississippi hinted that the team could hear her. Of course, the colleague was mortified, but to her credit, she did not apologize during the meeting. I think that would have brought more attention to it. Hopefully, she did apologize after the meeting. Miss Mississippi was concerned that this incident would cast an aspersion on all the black females in the group. That's already done, so you can get that out of your mind. I told her that I did not think that was the case and that she did what she could to help. Good job. I think, I would not say that to someone in the workplace, but I would have that in my brain computer that, oh yeah, that boat has already sailed. They already think that way about all of us. They thought that way years before that incident even happened. Boat sailed. Metaphor. Slave ship sailed, put it that way. But yeah, I think now not saying anything during the meeting, I think that's excellent logic. Not saying anything then will just bring more attention to it. But as she said, maybe you could do an email afterwards and, there was some commotion in the house and blah, 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 just leave it at that. But yeah, there's so many, hazards with the Zoom. I don't quite think that's as bad as like Jeffrey Toobin and being nude and sexually gratifying yourself on the Zoom. I think there are levels to the Zoom inappropriateness, but that is for sure up there. Try to use your mute button if you can while doing any sort of Zoom or teleconferencing for your workplace. Use your Zoom button. Maybe let other people know in your house or whatever work area where you're at. Let them know, hey, I'm on a Zoom call, children, other folks, so clear out of this area. If you can go someplace where you can close the door, that would be great. Like you could use a restroom. If you don't have an office, like you can be really creative because they have all the digital backgrounds. But if you can get someplace where you can close the door, do your meeting. That way you don't have people coming in and interrupting where you have to verbally respond to them and all that. Sometimes they are the ones who end up saying all this inappropriate stuff, and that can be heard. So yeah, try and maybe communicate with the people that are around you immediately before you start the Zoom to try to minimize that. And then use your use my mute button like a champion here on the cow. So use your mute button for the conferencing. And I can't say enough. White people already think that we're niggers to begin with. So, yeah. Continuing. 2. Let us work. On Wednesday, we were supposed to be able to create our schedules for the season. I tried to do it throughout the day. They announced there were some issues with the scheduling tool, and it would be ready on Thursday. I tried to create a schedule on Thursday, and I could not get the hours I wanted. In fact, it was hard to get the minimum weekly hours to qualify for the bonus. I reached out to my team in the Slack channel to ask if others were having issues getting their hours. One coworker, white female, wrote she got hours but not the ones she wanted. Lol, pivot. Pivot is a word used a lot at our company. However, I wrote to her, no lol about my money. Mrs. Outburst from the other story co-signs my statement and wrote, not at all. I went into the working Zoom space and restated my sentiment about this lol pivot statement. I stated that this is a serious matter that affects our pod group where we directly support. Another manager, white female, came in and asked what I am complaining about now. Now, see there? I told her not to worry about this, and I'm going to let you have your peace. Christian way of saying, mind your business. I like my job, so there are some things you can't say. Amen. Have to be codified. You can, like I said before, I was thinking, they already think that about us, but I wouldn't say that, out loud. But see there, that's why I say now I do know in a legal context, the word complaint, total different meaning. You say I'm, more making a legal complaint about wrongdoing, racism in the workplace, like totally different meaning. Non-Clemson dad let us know about that before and all that. That's not what this is. This is the general way that they minimize any sort of report, misconduct, something inappropriate is happening, like, there was some sort of problem, using the correct means to get a schedule set up, and then by the time we try to go and do it correctly, we're not even able to get our hours correctly. This is, disrupting money for lots of our employees here, and they're not taking it. What are you in here, you children? Just complain, and what are you talking about? Like, this is why we signed up for all of this, to make money. And now that's being hampered. People are snickering or saying, you just little children, just whine and complain all the time, you little children. That's not the way you talk to customers, I hope. She continues, I informed the team that I have communicated to a higher-up about our diminishing perks. I read the communication. They were surprised by the professionalism of the communication, insert eye roll. We then had our team huddle where I tell my manager about the communication and read it to him. He is not surprised, says it is excellent, and is supportive of the communication. After our huddle, I reached out to another black female colleague to say hello and catch up on her summer. She was helping an expert, so I helped as well, and then we chatted. She was concerned because she thought I went over our manager's head to communicate to the higher-up person. I explained why I did it, and she was relieved. I do understand why black people get nervous speaking up, but sometimes you have to do it. Now, hey, we have been conditioned for, I was going to say years, but I mean, to be truthful, we've been conditioned for centuries not to speak up for yourself. Matter of fact, I just said, what's the holiday that's coming up in, what is it, 3 days? What's today, the 10th, 5 days? The holiday, Dr. King. That's what happens when you speak up for yourself. Malcolm X, killed on the 21st of February. That's about 30 days away. That's what happens when you speak up for yourself. Say I'm sexist, you got to get a female in there. Rosa Parks, she did not die in Alabama, even though she was born there. Why did Rosa Parks have to flee, abscond to Michigan, because white people were going to kill her in Alabama? That's what happens when you speak up for yourself. So absolutely. I played that segment. Neely Fuller Jr. said that. He said, absolutely, on a job, army of one. That's exactly what you expect. Them other white people say, oh my goodness, you going over white people's head, and look at you out here being mannish or womanish, and who do you think you are out here talking to? That's what you expect. I do not expect anybody to write on and high five and you did the right thing and they're trying to wrong us and they messed us over on the schedule and why did they have the technology? And none of that. And if you do, she says some of the people did give a right on and they have that, you'll be pleasantly surprised. But you don't expect any of that. You expect they might call you names or what have you. They might say what they said at the beginning, that you're going to mess it up and have them think that we all uppity coons. They already thought that. United Independent. Let's see. Number 3, helping other black people, always dangerous. There is a new black female manager in our group. She has been assigned the responsibility to host the pod socials. That sounds so... It's a wealth of words going through my mind. I'm just going to rely on Old Faithful. Tacky. I was able to sign up to help her. The event is in a few weeks, and I hope I can help her succeed in this activity. I was on a team with her before, and she was a great team member at that time. Fortunately, that has not changed. It has been a busy week, and I have not started work today. I will try to join this evening. If I don't, wish everyone well, and buckle up. 2025 looks like it's about to be, 2025 looks like it's about that life. It might be really rough out here, but we can make it. Stay strong. Right on, black female caller in Jimmy Carter land. I had a non-white female. She told me a couple days ago. She said 2025 is the year to thrive. So I don't know. You have to pick which I guess Jimmy Carter didn't thrive for 2025. So I don't know. I guess you have to pick what you what you think the year is going to be. See if you can make it hard. Counter-racists lean towards thriving for 2025. But yes, we shall see. Trump is thriving. Elon Musk said we are thrive. Much obliged. The email again, untiljustice@gmail.com. I guess just for clarity's sake, you get this new black female manager, and she's going to host the pod. Now, I don't know what the socials pod is. That might be a really important element of the success of your team, and great ideas are exchanged, and everyone looks forward to. That might be, but it sounds like the socials. It sounds like it might be something that is not, rigorous workplace activity related. Maybe not. This might be something that's a little more casual, team builder type of a thing. I'm not sure. It might be that I'm ignorant about what all the social pod entails. But if you're going to have a new hire black person, I would hope this is going to be something that's really constructive, is directly related to the workplace and the job that we do, and everyone doing a better job and getting more money and being more efficient with the work that we do. Not some, we're going to do Scrabble or game time or social, that type of thing. Hopefully I'm totally wrong. And more importantly, our black female caller said she's signing up to help. Always kudos for that. I mean, that is going above and beyond, in my opinion, in counter-racist effort on a workplace scenario. New black person comes in, even if this is a lame assignment, well, I'm going to sign up and do my best to help this black person out in this assignment. Right on. Love it, love it, love it. Like, that is best you can ask in terms of counter-racism, in my opinion, even though we have folks who, some United Independent, whatever, workplace, you're on your own in the workplace, don't expect friends and all that good stuff. But hey, a lot of folks have said, I'm going to do my best. If I can be helpful, I will try. Helpful to other non-white people, victims of racism on the job. Let's see. Other folks who dialed in, if you have commentary to share. Again, our question today, so if you get hired for a new job, or if you're already on a job but you're offered like a promotion, better position, more pay maybe, but you recognize that there's a particular skill set that you lack, do you fess up at the beginning and let them know, I don't have skill Z, or do you keep quiet, just take the job, and then you figure it out as you are getting it on that new job? If anyone has experienced this directly, you can let us know that as well, but let us know how you would handle said situation. Let's see. Dog with black paw. How interesting. In with us as well. Do you have commentary?
Can I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Gus. Yeah, I actually did have some commentary, and I actually wish I would have been able to make it to the last episode of Neutralizing Workplace Racism in regards to, I believe the question was whether or not we have ever had a job that gave us bonuses, Christmas bonuses, etc. But as for the promotion aspect, I'm actually currently working at a job where that did happen for me. And it's the first time that I was working a position and I guess was able to move up. It's the first time I've moved up, period, but it's the first time that I was able to move up without necessarily having the qualifications. It was more so merit-based, so I work in social work. I currently work at a homeless shelter for men who are veterans. So I've really honestly been learning a lot just about, especially in this area, which I think is directly associated with the system of white supremacy in regards to just seeing the effects of drug use, seeing, what drug use does, what drug addiction does, seeing how it's not really stopped within this environment. But I did receive the position, just to answer the question, because the previous house manager just kind of like up and left. I guess it became very stressful for him, and it became very stressful for even his ability to work with other staff members as well. And I was actually supposed to be going to a completely different site. But when I heard the position opened up, I actually kind of, became a bit of a rebellious Negro. And I sent a few emails to some people that I was told after that I shouldn't have sent emails to. But me sending those emails to, I guess, the most prominent people I could find within the company is what managed my ability to actually get placed permanently at this site, but then also put me in line to, take on that promotion. So I didn't have the qualifications, but through the merit and just being able to be taught, and learn from, older gentlemen who are here, who have worked the position and still do work the position and have decided not to move up because they understand that, I guess in another answer to your question, there's also the aspect of like strategic demotion or strategically not taking the promotion, because in certain ways that can be used to push out, Black people, Black men. A lot of the time, you kind of take on more responsibility, but it's not a matter of you, if it doesn't work out, you get demoted and you can continue having your job. A lot of the time, you might just get straight out fired after accepting a promotion that, is supposed to better yourself, and you no longer have ties with the company. So I learned from one of the gentlemen who had been working the same position for about 11 to 12 years and had been offered basically every single other position that you could have within this environment and within the company, and just turned it down because, in his opinion, it just wasn't worth the emotional toll, the psychological toll, and otherwise. So I was also told I was being primed to even maybe take another step forward because I'm still young. I turn 27 next month. So I would say that social work, out of all of the other jobs that I've worked, I would say this to me has been the most fulfilling, even if it hasn't been the most high paying. I will say it's been the most fulfilling and enjoyable job that I've had thus far. So that's all I wanted to chime in with on that regard.
All right, on. Did you get a Christmas bonus?
I actually did. It was the second bonus of the year, and I haven't even been working here for a year. That was another thing. I've never been on any other plantation that gave me a bonus, let alone two bonuses within, and the first one was within 6 months of me working here. And anybody who had worked at the company for 6 months or more received it. You didn't need to have any other qualifications other than having been employed for 6 months or more. The Christmas bonus went to everybody, though. Like, no matter how long you were here, you could have got hired yesterday and you also would have received the Christmas bonus as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty generous plantation, I guess. From what I understand, they've made a lot of money in other means, through Department of Homeless Services. I don't know. That's something I'm still trying to learn more about and understand just the workings of, how the nonprofit profits. And I do see that, there was a lot of money that came in apparently, and so they decided they just give it away, give some away, even though I'm sure it's nowhere near what they actually ended up raking in surplus. But yeah, so I did receive a Christmas bonus, and I was very thankful for that. It was $500, so it wasn't nothing too crazy, but I'm still grateful for that. I'm sure I never received a Christmas bonus anywhere else I worked, so.
Whoopee for you. I didn't get no 500. I didn't get a 50-cent bonus for Christmas. So, hey, whoopee for you. I'm jealous. It seemed like we had a whole lot of other non-white people who didn't get no Christmas bonus either. So, hey, you already came up. Now, even with that, when I brought up the bonuses last week, I mentioned the mosquito board in Florida. Now, I said they're on the low end of the totem pole for white people. They were stealing. They were getting bonuses or giving themselves bonuses that they weren't even legally allowed to do. They were getting $1,000 bonuses And that's for the mosquito board. I said, we're not even hearing like, now what type of bonus did Elon Musk give out? That's what I'm saying. Like, Jesus Christ, you got people, they get like $5,000 bonuses and $10,000 bonuses and stock. Like $500 is cool. I'm just saying, like, man, it's bonuses and then it's bonuses. What the white fella who can't even get fired, let's see if he got a Christmas bonus. Just saying. But hey, I didn't get $500, so right on. I hope you use it constructive. Maybe you can save a little bit and do something constructive. I don't know, whatever the privileged black males like yourself do when they get a little chunk of change. Learning, very important for the workplace. Now, we got that scenario about being presented for a promotion, or I guess the job, and then getting in line for a promotion. Congratulations there. Always learning. That's why I said, like, I couldn't imagine being in a workplace situation and it's a whole lot of black people partying and jamboree and making noise and people can't even work constructively and on speakerphone talking about foolishness. Like, are you serious? We are trying to work, man. This is the office, man. We are not, like I said, at the bar. This is not the weekend party at a frat house. He's here to learn. I know I have deficiencies, so I'm going to talk to the other people on this job and see what's going on. In fact, even he said paying attention enough to see, like, now, wait a minute. I can't be one of these folks. I take a promotion for a position if I'm not qualified to have this job, and then I don't even get demoted. I just get flat out fired. Like, whoa, whoa. That can't be the setup. Where he said it seemed like some other black dudes had figured this out. Like, you're not going to Leroy me on this one. No, thank you. I just take the demotion or keep my old raggedy job over here, and, you let somebody else get that job. They work 6 months and get. Sometimes that's the setup. Put you on a job where you are designed to fail. You're not going to get the training if you don't have the adequate skill set or whatever. Tough titty. We gave Leroy a shot. I don't want to hear nothing about no racism because we gave old Leroy a shot. And look at it. He done messed up everything. Almost burned the building down, too. Learn as much as you can. And if you realize for that job, like, oh, man, I can't do this or can't do that. We heard Z's mom said, hey, I'm going to work. I'm going to be doing some weekend classes or whatever way. If this is something that I can compensate for on my own, I'm on it. Immediately, like today. Learn as much as you can in the workplace. Do not expect white people to probably restrict your access to constructive information. You might have to ask lots of questions repeatedly and put in a lot of effort to get correct information on a job, and particularly at a time where you can use that information. Much obliged, dog with black paw, and then working to help veterans. Like, come on, that is spectacular. Probably can learn quite a bit. He's learned quite a bit about substance abuse as well. Imagine that. Much obliged, privileged, black. It sounds like lots of privileged black males work and use those services with the veterans shelter. Like, wow, lots of elements of white supremacy racism there. Let's see, our caller, W, as in G.W. Bush, former president.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, W, because I'm at work. Thanks for taking my call. Hope everybody's having a great evening. You did a great job reading the letter. Woo-hoo. Yeah, I can't believe I was at the meeting and I missed everything. I missed a lot of weird stuff like that. I think I've said that in the past. I missed a lot of stuff like that. Right there, missed that. So yeah, be careful what you say, just in general, but also to me.
That is wild. I don't know if that's. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt?
No, go ahead, sir.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to miss out on those type of outbursts in the workplace. Um, mm, uh, at minimum, echo, I would be real cautious about, chatting with other folks who are not on the Zoom. Use your mute button and even give a reminder. Even if you do Zooms on a regular basis, I would give a reminder every time. Hey, fellas, guys, gals, doing my Zoom. If you could just keep it down. I know you're watching the game. It's exciting, right? Jerry Sandusky did do all that. Never mind. Anyway, I'm doing the Zoom. Keep it down. I'll be off in 30 minutes. Thank you. If you can go somewhere where you can close the door, great. I know a lot of people are space challenged or whatever. If you can use the restroom, you can close the door. And even if you close the door, I would still remind them, because sometimes they might burst in. Mom, we got to do that. Shut up. And you don't want to hear, all that. And they're, like I said, sometimes they burst in and are saying inappropriate things that you don't want, So remind everybody, I'm on the Zoom. Don't bother me for the next 30 minutes. You maybe even get a sign too, and then, proceed with the call. But yeah, that is rough. That is not quite as bad as Jeffrey Toobin having his pants down, but still, that is not a good look, as the young people say.
Yes, and I guess with the second issue, like I said, I wrote communication, and in the communication, I didn't think about it, but I did put in something, I guess, that maybe Mr. Fuller would recommend. I put in, about the diminishing perks and how can I recommend someone to take this position if they're not getting better perks? Something like that I wrote. Nicer than that, but how can I recommend this position to great experts if they're not going to get better pay or, better perks? They can stay where they are. So, like I said, the people in my group, because we have fun, and I like to have fun and laugh. I said, this is business. You have to do things professionally. I'm very professional. Don't play with me. And my manager, again, he wasn't surprised by what I wrote. He said, that's very excellent. He said the word excellent letter. I can say it, but I'm glad you were speaking out for the other leads. He was very pleased with what I wrote. So he approves my pay, so yay him. And I explained to the other coworker who was nervous that, what are we supposed to do? We need to work the hours. If we don't work the proper hours, then our managers don't have the proper support, chain reaction, so on and so forth. And one of the other coworkers, she was like, I'm going to keep my black behind. I shut my black behind up, blah, blah, blah. She didn't say behind, but I shut my black behind up. I'm like, well, she was like, thanks for taking one for the team. I'm like, well, I mean, I need to, I'm like, I'm a single black female. I have needs. I have bills to pay. I said, I like y'all, but not that much. I come here to work. Me and Rihanna, work. So, and then today we've gotten some, favorable actions so that we can get the hours we want. So, manager came, and I also said, we like he's white man. I said, well, we like the manager we have. We can't keep having him going rogue, white men or not. They may get tired of that. And what if he goes away? We need this manager to stay on our side. I'm not just doing stuff because I have nothing else to do. These are strategic moves so that we can get what we need to get. And she's like, oh, okay, I understand. I understand now. And for in terms of the social, they have little virtual mixers. That's what they are, little virtual mixers. They're about an hour. And yes, I volunteered to help, but because it is not one of my normal scheduled time of working, what? More money to change. And so, I mean, I would have done it anyway. I want Black people to do well. And something simple I could do to help you, I'm going to try to help you, within reason. And all you do is press some buttons. It shouldn't be that hard. So, no problem. And that is it as it pertains to work. Oh, we had this I call it pseudo thing, where you answer these questions. Again, we had I guess for our role, we had our quote unquote social, where they used to give us stuff, but they're not doing that anymore. He's like, oh, you win bragging rights. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Well, guess who has bragging rights? Yay! But my team, they were like, yay, way to go. We look smart. Yay. Because the questions were about our jobs. I'm like, yeah, I know how to do my job. Like, yeah, I know how to do my job. I need my Uber Eats gift card or whatever they're supposed to give me. That's what I want. But so, and my boss was there, so it looks good. Oh, she looks confident, blah, 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 this, that, and other. So even though I'm quote unquote unprofessional, they still love to ask me questions like I'm confident. So they see some value. And that is all. Again, be blessed. It's going to be a fight. I think this year's going to be a fight, but, you know, don't give up. Thank you.
The system of white supremacy is for sure a fight, and they have been putting the smackdown on us for a good number of years. But yes, do not give up. Do not give up. That's what I thought. See, she gave us the explanation about the social pods, because I was saying, like, that seems like it's some sort of like mixer type entertainment type of a thing. And I said, tacky. That's what I said. Like, she's brand new on the team, and they put what Fuller said, the entertainment committee. That's what they put her on. Like, come on, that's the best that you can do as a new person. I said, Nabe, this might be really important, and they might exchange really, constructive ideas, and this might be something where people figure out a way to get perks, all the raises and everything, so they can really come up for 2025, thrive in 2025. But man, put me on something that, this is part of the business, and I'm on the major project for the year, and yeah, I get to learn and show off all my expertise, and come on, they put me on entertainment committee. Yes, Lakeisha, we'll put you in charge of that. No, you'll be great. Get some jokes, and woo! Can you get Cat Williams to come in? Never mind. And she signed up to help. Same thing I said when I read the email. Always love it. Black people, black self-respect. And she got paid. Like, I didn't even know that. That's like double whammy constructive. We don't even get that very often. The constructive double whammy, where you can do black self-respect, help a black person, and you're on the clock. Like, dang, spectacular. Love it. Still what I said. Same thing I said when I read the email. Always love when we have non-white listeners who try to help other black coworkers help do the best that they can, see them do well, and seeing other black people do well in the workplace. Love it, love it, love it.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't mean to cut you off, and I know you didn't mean to be funny, but why is that the girl's name?
Oh, Lakeisha?
Yeah.
Oh, I just try and pick out, the stereotypical quote-unquote names that they associate with black people. Leroy, Lakeisha, Jamal. I don't know. I don't know any white people named Lakeisha.
So why?
I'm sorry?
I'm through. I got to get back to work.
Gotcha.
I said I got to get back to work.
Right on. But yes, that's why I use Lakeisha. Have to have a black female name for Leroy. Folks, or sometimes I say Asada. Use that one as well. Those are my two names that I use for black female. Leroy, Jamal, those are my two names that I use for black males. Much obliged to our black female caller in Georgia. Her name actually might be Lakeisha, which would be even more wild. Anywho, no disrespect to any Lakeishas out there, or any Leroys. I know that does exist as well. No disrespect to authentic Leroys. Number again, 605-313-5164. The code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. Email untiljustice@gmail.com. The social pods. See there? Exactly. That's about what I thought it was. See, like I said, now, if you work on any jobs, we've had people who do the Zooms. Now, if you work a job where they do those Zooms, socials, and such, especially like during the thick of COVID, like 2000, 2021, now, if doing all that, you participated and it was constructive, you came up, you got a raise, you got a promotion, they shared really important information that helped your career or at least helped you in your performance of your job at that time at that company, right on. But I suspect that's probably not what a lot of the Zoom socials are. Is probably, but did you hear Michelle Obama has a penis? Oh, it's true. It's true. That's what I expect, and maybe we have a drink since we're at home, hey, have all kinds of cocktails and woo. Why does I have to be in charge of that? Like, I don't even want to attend really, but why do I have to be in charge? That's my welcome to the company. Like, come on, put me on. Entertainment committee. That's the most that they think of us. Entertainment committee. Colored folks. Yeah, we put her on that. Anyway, see, I think Lakeisha is better than her. If you have an actual name, put Lakeisha on that. See. Any hoodles. Other folks have commentary, observations for the new year. Again, the question for this time around, if you get hired or promoted, you lack the skill set, do you go ahead and fess up front and let them know what your deficiencies are? That way they can be corrected, or at least they know up front and can't sabotage you. Or do you keep it mum, try to learn as you go, and don't say anything? Let us know. Let's see. Other folks who are with us, do we have any other folks with suggestions, commentary that they want to add based on what they've heard? Can't miss anything. Make sure other folks who are listening in give you all about 5 minutes or so if they have other observations, comments to share. I cannot stress enough, I would be alert like for the next, what is today, the 10th? I'd be alert. That's like the next 60 days almost, really. It's beginning of the month still. I'd be alert until like March because it's going to be tackiness next week for the King holiday. And then that's just going to extend for the duration of February with all kinds, especially with Trump in office now. Like, oh man, they're going to clown all month long. Like Harriet Tubman, like as tacky as can be. So, like when I say Harriet Tubman, like they might say, you look like Harriet Tubman. Male or female. Leroy or Lakeisha, you look like Harriet Tubman. So expect all kinds of tackiness, like over the next whatever. What did I just say? Like 2 months, really. Starting next week. If you have the day off, the day before. Oh, it's your cousin's day tomorrow. You had barbecue. You got chitlins for tomorrow, and whatever else. Write that down. And then, or they'll get you the day after. If you have to work that day, bang, make sure I have something slick to say on the day of. And then, like I said, that's going to carry all the way into got to get my peanut jokes in for George Washington Carter and, all the rest of it. Be prepared, not surprised about any of that. That's a big part of counter racism, not being surprised about white supremacy. Just like the report that they had at the beginning, I didn't even say anything about the one Northern Iowa where they have the lawsuits because they have scholarships. They're supposed to be for black people. I want to see now how many black students do they have at Northern Iowa? How many black students? How many non-white students? Because it's like Iowa is almost a racially restricted state all to itself. So what's the population of black people? Like they just got tons of black affirmative action students who just come and filling up all the classes and taking all the scholarship money out in Iowa? Come on now. But I would expect more of those lawsuits too. They went back to the affirmative action decision from a couple summers ago and saying, see, yeah, we can't have no scholarships that are discriminating. They kept even using discriminating
in that report saying messing up and not letting in white people or not letting white people get these scholarships because you're trying to bring in all these black people and talking about you woke and racism and all in Iowa. Come on now. Come on. That's even reminded me of Swango because he was trying to go to med school out in Iowa. He ended up not going out there, but that did come up briefly with old Mike Swango. And they didn't discriminate to keep him out. And he was a convicted felon, just like our coming president. Any hoodles, we'll be here tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, compensatory call-in. For sure, we'll have more to say about the fires. I did not expect that to come up today for workplace racism, but I am sure there are non-white people who are down there working in that region, even if they're not in the region that had to evacuate or had property that they lost or what have you, having to work in the... They moved the Rams game. That's a playoff game. The LA Rams football, brain damage. They moved their playoff game to Arizona because of the fires. So I'm sure if there are some non-white people working at McDonald's, the air quality is awful and they don't have masks or nothing. So, I mean, I am sure there's, a major workplace racism component to the fires for sure in California. But I just hadn't, processed all that in my brain computer at this point. I was more so thinking I cannot believe this. I was just literally for the second time to see places I was just there. And now it's on fire. Some of these areas for the second time since I was just there. And now it's on fire again. Not to mention the air quality, which that was my number one complaint while I was in Los Angeles. The air quality. That's what I said over and over. The air quality, the air quality. Can't but sound like George Floyd. Can't breathe. I can't breathe. My sinuses are agitated. I said that over and over and over the whole time, every day. How often do you breathe? I was agitated about that the whole time I was there. And then they said that. I remember when I was there, I was researching that about the air quality because it bothered me so much. And they said, ooh-wee, when they have the wildfires, it is even worse. And they've had 2 big ones since I left. 2. It's not even wildfire season in California right now, supposedly, and they've had 2 since I left. Man. Anywho, but that'll be tomorrow. Compensatory call at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Safety prayers to all the folks in SoCal, maybe even California, period, because that you can see the smoke and debris on the satellite images. So I don't know. Prayers to all the folks in the California area. That debris is no joke. I remember that when they had wildfires in Canada some years back. That's not even in the same country. The debris and soot drifted south, and I remember it was so bad you could have the windows closed here and you would still find black soot inside the window seal even if the window was closed. That's how bad it was. I remember they said you had to keep the windows closed, keep the blinds closed, turn on your air filter if you have one, and hope for the best, especially if you have asthma, what have you, or some sort of respiratory issues. Don't go outside. Man, prayers to the folks in the California air. Breathing. Fuller said, man, we got lots of plugs today, right? Fuller said, what's better than breathing? It took me going to Los Angeles to realize, that is a gem, Fuller. What is better than breathing? That would be my t-shirt for avoiding California. What's better than breathing? Anywhere but anywhere but Los Angeles. I love California. That's my anti-Los Angeles t-shirt. What's better than breathing? Anywhere but LA. They moved the game, man. They can't even play the game. A playoff game. That's the second time I've seen a city where L.A., they had a playoff game move. They rioted over Rodney King, and they had to move a playoff game for the Los Angeles Lakers. Moved them to Nevada, and this time they had to move it to Arizona because of the wildfires. Only L.A., man. Same thing. What's better than breathing? Whether the police choke you to death or the wildfires, what's better than breathing? Anywhere but L.A. That's a hot shirt. Hot. You just put California out and block out L.A. You put the whole state of California up, block out L.A. Other folks who dialed in with a hand up. If you have commentary to share, proceed.
Yes, sir. May I be heard?
Caller in Florida. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Greetings to Gus, the host, the listeners, and callers. Gus, I kind of just got to the phone line, but I had the program playing in the background. You had it was a question you had asked about having a skill, or what was it again?
If you either get hired or offered a promotion on a job and there's a specific skill set that you lack, do you announce that up front and let them, the person who's hiring or promoting, let them know, hey, I do not have X skill set, so that they know up front if they want to reconsider or make sure you get training? Do you say that up front? Or do you shut up, keep that to yourself, and just, get the job, get the training, on the job training, as they say, or what have you, don't say anything about it?
Just thinking about that, I would have to say I would have to try to get the on-the-job training on that, especially with the system of white supremacy that functions at the job that I've been working at, because it also reminds me of how for instance, a white woman who didn't know how to use Photoshop, I think you remember me mentioning that. It looks like she still is doing a portion of a job, I guess doing some transcribing, like ancient records. But she was supposed to go back to archives, so for some reason they didn't send her back. And I know at one time they were trying to get another person to help train her on what she, was lacking. But, I'm thinking, she a white woman, of course, and that made me think of that as well. So I would just try to get the on-the-job training and see what happens there. But, Gus, I had some updates I'd like to share. There was a white woman, okay, that came into the marriage license area with two white men. And she made a comment where she replied to someone about, I guess, their plans to get married, her and the husband, the white husband. And she was asked was she going to have a bridesmaid, I guess. And she was like, no, this, and she pointed to the other white dude and said, well, this is my groomsmaid because I hate women. So that comment, and even the way she said it was just really nasty, if I could use that term, rude or whatever. And the black female, the marriage license coordinator kind of just walked through just like shaking her head or whatever. And that's just another one that I had to write down in the way of, now what if I said that, black dude that they already watching in the workplace, if I had uttered those words, I once again would have been in some tremendous trouble, I think. The next report I'd like to share is there was two white women having a discussion about black males, it looked like, or one black male that she was having a relationship with from a car dealership. And she held up a card to another white woman and said to her, "Oh, well, here's this guy that I used to talk to or whatever." And she says, you better try him out. She said, try him out. And he's the right color, and that's black. So the other white woman didn't really say anything. So she set the card down on the table, and then they kept talking about other things. The next report is also this white woman that works up where I'm at, who took the known from off for the desk she's assigned, told a black female about, even after she just got another year anniversary, commemorating an anniversary of her being there, I think about 7 years, saying, "Oh, am I too committed or should I get another job?" Asking this white woman that. And the white woman says, "You committed? No, you're using the wrong word. I give credit when it's due, but I don't know what you're talking about there." And then she just laughing in her face. And I would like to share two more. The next one was, there is passport training that I've been trying to do a recertification for. But it's kind of funny the way that it's working, and I guess it may be a thing of we're getting a new courthouse built a couple of blocks up the street. So everyone may be assigned to do more and more passports. So that's been another thing that I've been working on. And my last report is that the front counter over in the civil area had its last white employee extracted from their front counter because she's been constantly griping about wanting to move to the background, I guess, or to the area over in the civil area and not the front counter for civil. So it was announced to her today that you should pack your bags. Black female told her to pack her bags and, since she want to move or whatever. But that's what was reported to me. And everyone at the front counter will be a black person. And even with that, and I've been told that the white people come in and it's like, hey, what's going on here? Like, I haven't been to this courthouse in a while, and this not the county. Like, and wanting to go to that one white person is now ain't gonna have a white person to go to. Even in the cashier box, they even had money being stolen, and that was a white woman or two white women that was stealing money. And now that they aren't there, no money is being stolen. So this black female manager has been interviewing more black applicants. There was two of them today. So, I guess they're trying to hire in more black people. So that's been some of the updates going on at the courthouse, and hopefully they're going to start building our new courthouse, or the new courthouse, because the one that I've been working in has been the courthouse since 1978. And that's all I have to share. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
Wow. That's old as dirt. 1978. No disrespect to anybody here who's just saying.
Wow, that is kind of. I guess they do for courthouses. They probably do have a lot of courthouses, especially on the East Coast, like Florida, that are way older than that. Like, I bet if you go to like New York and Massachusetts and some of those, Virginia, man, I bet they have some courthouses that are probably even go back like 19th century maybe. Probably don't even have air conditioning in some of them. Like, man, jeez. Anyway, I still think that's old. 19th, that is old. It is time for a new building because they have lame air conditioning. What I just said, how are you in Florida and you don't even have central air conditioning? Like, come on. It's time for an upgrade. New courthouse. He said our. He said our. Put that on Minister Michael. Like, we're getting a new courthouse. We should have our new building. He started saying, wait a minute. The new courthouse should be built. Like, yes, I am not on the deed. I do not own one stone of the new courthouse. It is not our. Yes. Let's see. The woman coming in, the white woman at that, who came in and said, these are the fellas, got these dudes here. They're going to be my bridesmaid or groom, whatever you call it, groomsmaids or groomsmen or whatever. Because I hate women. She said it with such vitriol. Like, man, that's another one I even had to for her say, my hateful white sister, you mean that you hate white women? I seriously doubt that you've been kicking it with a whole lot of Asadas and Lakeishas down through the years. Now, I could be wrong. Matter of fact, we'll kill all this. Let's see the wedding photos. We just count how many colored folks we see, and we don't have to worry about none of this. Like, hey, Gusty, you don't even know what you're talking about. Look at that. Lakeisha right there, and Asada right there, and Janet right there. Look at that. She got tons of black. Shut up, old Gusty. You don't even know what you... Maybe. I doubt it. Anyway, I think she was talking about she hates white women. Whereas she replaced them with white men. Big change. Said he, in answer to the questioning before that, he said, given the system of white supremacy racism, I would not say anything. I would just get the training on my own and take the opportunity. We heard that from a number of folks. Was it two white women that were doing the exchange where they were talking about dating this cool black fella that is the right color? Was that two white women talking?
Oh yes, sir. That was two white women.
Wow, that's another one for the, in the workplace, there's supposed to be some form of decorum, black dude in a workplace. I can't imagine two black dudes in a workplace. Like, man, let me tell you, Jamal. Woo! This here white woman, you try her out. Like, what? Bright complexion, and I mean, what? Telling you, Jamal, we both fired. He might call the police on us, like, us for white slave trafficking, like, I don't know, prostitution, anything. Like, what? And then you give it out a number. What? I mean, what does it mean to be white? I can't say that enough. Like, the sort of conduct, the white fella, the Z's mom, when she said, the white dude, if I'm going to give recommendations to a young hiree, it really needs to be a female. In fact, someone is kind of attractive. I can't really properly advise some dude, rough features, look like me, and I lose interest. You need to be young, supple. Like, what? Or the one I said earlier, sitting around and Michelle Obama is Michael, and how is any of this permissible to be talked about in the workplace? Come on, man. Come on. Much less we're talking about,
Hey, you check this one out. Come on. I do not recommend any of that, by the way, for non-white people. Even if you work with all black people, that is like 1,000,000,000% unprofessional, inappropriate. Why are you doing that in the workplace? I've never heard someone got a raise on the basis of that sort of behavior. Never. Let's see. And then the right color. Now, see, that's even pause right there. What is it? From someone classified as white. Talking about someone classified as black. What is the right color? What does, like, what? Does that mean he has a lot of melanin? He doesn't have too much melanin? Like, I don't need, man, my head hurts. Like, what would be the wrong color? Let's get a picture of that too. Like, nah, I can't do you, wrong color nigger. I don't, get on out, beat it. Like, what? That, and then fuss at us, talk about the brown paper bag test and all of that. They'll come back and fuss at us. So, well, you niggers got to say, what? Person to blame for all of that is right there. So I'm going to have, and will say, I'm not racist. I believe in interracial, dating and all that, long as they're the right color, mind you. Let's see. Oh man, she had the black female. He said the black female been at work. I don't know if this is the black female that's been there 20 years and they won't promote her, but black female has been there for years, just got her some sort of recognition, I guess, or what have you, for being there so many years. And she said, hey, committed. I'm a committed employee. He said that the white woman laughed in her face. You? Committed? With a question mark. Committed? Committed? You? And crack up laughing on the floor. You don't even know what committed. You got the wrong word. You meant something else. I know, because you must be talking about somebody else, because she's talking about what? That is so, I mean, I hate being repetitive, but I think I'm going to have to do it. Rewind back to Fuller. That is so tacky. It is like a billion things beyond that, too, but I mean, that is so tacky. That's another. Now, if this had been a white woman, you could get that white woman, lame white woman who still sounds like doesn't know how to use Adobe Photoshop. I know she would not have done it. You committed? Or my white brother, the one who is unprofessional and doesn't know how to talk to people, I know she would not have done anything like, especially not publicly out in front of everybody. That's how they, and the humiliation aspect of it. We have had so many, that's even a big part of why we've had a number of people say that they don't like calling in, they don't want to call in, that sort of thing, because it's kind of embarrassing, and I agree too. It is not cool to be talking about that sort of thing publicly. If that had been my situation and I got to call in and be like, yeah, I was thinking, I'd been working there for a while and I thought I was really committed, and she laughed in my face, and you, who do you think you are? And I just felt so embarrassed and all of it. Like, are you see who wants to call and talk about that? And then we internalize this. What Dr. Angelou said, we believe they are correct. I'm not really committed. You got the warden, she been here 35 years practicing racism. You got the clique members, they've been here all these decades. They're committed. I'm not. She's right. I was yeah, I'm not really. Like, that is that is how we are trained in the system of white supremacy racism. Oh, that is so disgraceful. And the public humiliation of it, too. Man. Let's see. And the hiring, hopefully she won't be there much longer. Hopefully they'll hire enough black people that she'll get disgusted and leave. Talk about this race soldier white woman who said that. She said that they had one white woman in the front. She has escaped. The black people teased her and said, pack your bags, you are out of here. So now it will be all black people. Segregated section expands. He said they've had customers. They come in. And, whoa, what's going on? Jesus Christ. I haven't been to the courthouse in a few years, but I'm gonna wait for the white woman. I'm fine. I'm gonna wait in line. I'm gonna wait for the white woman. I'm gonna wait for the white woman. And he said, now can't even do that. They're gonna come in next time. So, whoa! I waited for the white woman, and you don't. Oh God. Oh. Everybody pressed the panic button. They had the customers. I'm gonna reach over and press the panic button because I gotta come to the courthouse and depend on the coloreds to. Oh God. Oh, and you're going to probably have a lot more of this because, I mean, hey, what I just said, the warden, she retired, man. Unfortunately, that's what it's going to be. Increasingly, that's what white genetic annihilation, that is what it means. These white people are getting older, and it's not enough young white people to replace them with the warden's niece, granddaughter. We don't have enough white people to do that, so we're going to have some dark people come in and take these, like, ooh. I keep saying, try to see if it can be you. See if you can be one of the ones to get some of those. He said, got the black manager now. Got to take more black applicants. No. Yeah, what are we going to do? What? And we don't even have qualified white applicants. We were already scraping the bottom of the barrel, as they say, getting white people that can't even use Photoshop. Can't even type, man. We're going to have to get some black people. Sorry. Maybe a lot of black people. Like I said, it's not even just that. I forgot my sick white brother, unprofessional, doesn't know how to talk to people. We don't even have, like, top-level white candidates to get. We got lame white people, man. We're going to have to get some black people. Sorry. The segregated section expands. We might even have to get some black judges. Oh, perish do they have any black judges now? I know the black judge just died. Do they have any others?
There was one that passed away, Gus. There are, I believe, there are two black female judges. One is a county judge, and the other is a civil judge. So it's only two black judges.
Remember the one that just passed away? They made a brief acknowledgement when he passed. But probably going to have to get more black judges, too, because they had that old racist race soldier judge mad. You know, whoa, you don't get on the elevator with me. Like, whoa, not even supposed to be in the building. Ugh. Ain't going to be too much more of that. We're going to have to get some black judges, too. Sorry. White genetic annihilation. You can put that next to every time they say that silver tsunami. White genetic annihilation. And try to get some of those jobs if that's you. Any hoodles, much obliged for all the folks sharing, hopefully worthy of your Friday evening. We will do it again tomorrow, Saturday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Compensatory call-in. Catch up the latest, what happened in Las Vegas and New Orleans. Got more information on both of those, as well as, like I said, the wildfires, which have really been, man, even Jesus Christ, if those either group of those fires that have happened in Southern Cal, if they had happened 30 days earlier, oh my gosh, they had evacuated. I was in Hollywood, like they had evacuated. Oh my God, I would have lost my mind. I was going crazy and thought I was going to die there anyway. And they set the bus on fire. They've had 3 different mass fire events that I'm aware of in 60 days since I've been gone. Or about 65 days since I've been gone. They set that bus on fire after they won the World Series. They had the wildfires in November, and then they had the wildfires just now. Like, man. And the reports say, hey, get used to it. We're going to have to landscape. This is the future of Southern California, having events like this. What's better than breathing anywhere but LA? I don't know if that'll be as popular straight out of Compton t-shirts, but get the point. Anywho, we'll be here tomorrow. Sobriety would be best. Can't say that enough. Liquor is carcinogenic. Creator, we ask that you help us remain patient with other black people, victims of white supremacy. We ask that you help us remain patient with ourselves. Remind us to demonstrate the highest levels of black self-respect at all times, in all places, each and every time we are in contact with another black person. It has been time. Replace white supremacy with justice immediately. No name-calling black people. No gossiping. No throwaway offspring. Cows signing out. Thanks all for tuning in.
Nigga, you so brainwashed. I'm a victim, brother. Problem. You're a victim. Man, I'm a victim of 400 years of conditioning. Shut up. The man has programmed my conditioning. Even my conditioning has been conditioned.